What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We are NECC, and we're going to be doing some Siege today. Semifinals. This is going to be a Buffalo, or University at Buffalo Alpha versus Central Methodist, and it's going to be a really good matchup here. I'm going to let Karo, though, my co-caster here, talk about the maps we're going to see.
Yeah, we're going to be starting off on Coastline, which, I love myself some Coastline, boys. It's been a while since I've actually casted a map to Coastline, so it'd be really nice to get onto that. We're going to be going on Oregon. Well, I'm pretty sure every single caster in the NECC already has their opinions on Oregon, and then Villa is going to be the decider. I love Villa. Me personally, I love Villa. It's a pretty even map, I feel. Very roam heavy and everything like that. But the map that we need to worry about right now is Coastline. Coastline, whenever you go into a map, whenever it comes to comp maps or just ban phase in general, you can rely on them banning something having to do with Heart, some sort of support for Heart. You'll definitely expect like a Thatcher. You'd expect an Ace and a Maverick. On this map, you don't really have to worry about any of them. This map, there's only like 1 or 2 walls that you really need to worry about, and in that situation, they're inside the building, and that's where guns are going off, bullets are flying back and forth, and you don't have time to really place down that hard breach. So the only bans I can really understand is either a Thatcher or an Ace to go down on Coastline. So those are the only 2 I really expect, which you can see on any other map, but I would expect more of frag heavy or roam clear operators. Nomad's probably going to be off the board. We're going to be seeing Jackal come off the board. And that's why I love Coastline, because it kind of just drops everything that has to do with what you know about Hard Breach and just says, okay, who can just outplay each other with nothing having to do with Hard Breach? Just who can aim, who can peek the best, and that's just like I feel like Coastline just like the essence of like of like the beginning of Siege type thing.
Yeah, it kind of was like a throwback to when everyone started the game. No one really knew strats very well. Everyone was trying to pick it up, but it really came down to those people who just had the better mechanical skill, who were able to master the recall. Back then was like, atrocious, all kinds of things like that. So it is almost like a throwback map. And in the sense of being a throwback, when it came out, which was It was a DLC map, I believe. It wasn't released on launch. I believe it did come in a little bit afterwards, within the first year probably. But it hasn't been touched. It hasn't been reworked. And so that is something people have complained about. But I also find that this is one of the, it's an exception, as you were mentioning, to the standard play that we're seeing. So I do find it an exciting map. You mentioned it's just all about frag potential between these two teams. So which team is going to have the better fraggers on this day? Something else I want to just clarify: this is the Champions Division, so this is the higher play. These are the teams that are the best of the best. No offense to the Challenger division; they're just, there's just a different tier there, and that's fine.
They earned it. They earned it.
Right. Now we did see already. Unfortunately, we didn't see it. Was not on the broadcast. But the other semifinal game in this division already happened. It was UC Davis versus UC San Diego, and that was a 2-1 for San Diego. Very close throughout the entire matchup. Every map was very close, from what I've been told. And so I kind of hope to see something very similar. I would like to go. I like Villa as well. You mentioned it's really balanced map. Might be the most balanced map in my opinion in the game right now. And so I think we deserve to go to a map 3. These teams have shown us. And another tidbit, we interviewed Alpha's captain, Buffalo's captain, when we were last saw them against Lakeland. And they said, this is the team, CMU, Central Methodist. This is the team they felt gave them the best run for their money. They were undefeated throughout the regular season. This is the team that they thought took the most from them. And this is the one that they thought would give them the biggest challenge. And now here they are facing off against them. So I'm curious to see if it'll live up to the expectations that Buffalo had for them. But just a quick question to our producers. I'm going to ask: Are we ready to go? Is everyone in the lobby? So that we can get started here on to Coastline. Looks like we're still waiting, but they did just load in. It looks like I see. So hopefully we're ready to go here in a moment. But did you have anything else to add, Caro, before we do jump in here? Anything else that you might be looking out for?
I guess I just say I want Coastline to last as much as possible, and then when we go to map 2, being Oregon, I just want to go just go by as fast as possible so we can see that building. I mean, do I need to say anything else? I do. All we see is Oregon when it comes to these
true.
leagues. All I see is Oregon. Every single caster in these leagues call it Borgen because how cookie cutter the plays are whenever it comes to pushing the upstairs kids' dormitory. You have to worry about 2 different angles. They always bring a heart breach coming big tower, probably going to be a Maverick, and they always bring like an Ace or a Thermite coming from the main, the master bedroom area. That's how they run it every single time. You rarely see someone really come to the big window area. Yeah, I mean, sometimes we have seen a couple in this league so far. I saw it with Infernosis a bit ago. I think it was on Thursday, and they did actually pull through with a play around the big window area, and they actually did manage to pull off a couple of frags from it. So hopefully, we do see some change up coming from the Oregon map. We are ready to start, as we actually do go right into the Coastline. So jumping right into this. Bans, like I said, I already have my expectations for bans. Probably not going to be much. It's probably not going to be around any hard breachers. If I was to see a hard breacher, Ace would probably be on top. Ace is an amazing hard breacher. Any sort of defense, probably Intel mainly. Intel, probably a Maestro, probably about probably where they're going to be dabbling around for the most part.
Yeah, we'll see if this meets your expectations. We talked about Jackal, and that's kind of what I expected too. A lot of teams like to roam. You kind of need to on a small map like this, smallest map I believe in the game. And so this is going to allow them that freedom without being caught out. Footsteps won't give away their position, neither will the scans. So he's off the board. The second one you mentioned, Nomad, or we could see a hard breach, but it really is up in the air. I don't think there's any real anything to go off of for that pick, but it will be the Nomad. So you're right on the dot so far. You mentioned Intel, so I would agree with you. I think Valk will probably be taken off the board. Her cameras being thrown outside are just so annoying on this map because there's all those balconies and you have to push in a lot of times from one of the balconies, especially if you're pushing and trying to take control of Aqua to do a plant in hookah, let's say, or just even hookah balk. So she's off the board. And the last one I'm going to say maybe Malusi. I find that her gadget is obnoxious on this map, especially on stairwells.
Yeah, I entirely forgot about Malusi, but they're going
That's
Vigil?
different. That's different.
They just, not only did they leave the Malusi, they went for the operator that doesn't really bring any sort of utility besides an impact. The only thing that he really brings is his own self-defense and doesn't really help out when it comes to, like, I would expect if they're gonna be banning a roamer, I'd ban like Legion or something like that. or either Legion, Ella, any other 3-speed that you typically see running around the place, that's who I'd expect to ban. The Vigil ban was not expected whatsoever. And then Malusi was the big one. Malusi can cut off areas just by putting a Banshee there, and then obviously it's a struggle utility waster. Auditorial call. She's a big mess of an operator, and as you can see right there, they're going to be utilizing it as soon as they possibly can. Every single one of these defensive rounds, hopefully they do bring that out, and then as you see right there, they are bringing the Echo as well, because Echo did receive a nerf quite recently, so you don't really see too much play from him at any other game mode besides Pop, and I can definitely say I did see a bit from him during my little casting this league, so I'm excited to see how they utilize him.
Yeah, I think he's underutilized. In fact, I like how they gave him his shield back after removing the cloaks on his droids. I can't even speak right now, but I do like him a lot myself. So he has a really good gun with the ACOG on it, so you can't underestimate him. Now, looking at the attacker lineup, the hard breach you mentioned is usually Ace. They're actually going to go with the Hibana, who was, before Ace came into existence, she would obviously be the main choice here on this map. Going to try and open up that back wall of the billiards room and probably open up lines of sight from VIP if they can manage that as well. But I'm curious to see who are the main roamers going to be. Is it really going to be a mute down below? That's an interesting op.
He does have an SMG. He has his SMG. He's not running.
Okay.
So it's kind of understandable because they do have that smoke, so they probably don't want to opt towards 2 shotguns, which is pretty understandable. But and speaking of the shotgun, right off the bat, first kill of the game and the entire situation, the best of 3, the first kill of it all, and he happens to leave the game as well. I think that was a result.
Illegal skin, maybe?
Yeah, I was gonna say illegal skin, possibly a computer issue, and he needed to fix it as quickly as possibly could, not just keep away alive. I'm not entirely sure of the situation, but they're already making a very aggressive push. You can see if the kill already goes through, Flossie's gonna be dropped right off the bat before he can utilize any of his bolts. So that's gonna be pretty devastating for the attacking side. Lucy is here to take a gunfight and ready to deal with whoever tries to push through that vertical. And here he is, he's back. I think that might have been they needed. I think he's all good now. Hopefully he's all good.
Hopefully he fixed whatever it was. I'm sure it was probably a skin if I had to guess if he got back that fast. So he probably just got TK'd, left, changed the skin, came back. So that makes sense. In any case, it is still 4v4 now. So that's going to leave the man count even after getting that kill onto Flossie like you'd mentioned. Capital off the board. Interesting to be bringing the Capital. Sometimes teams bring him, but he's not always brought. I think he's kind of fallen out of favor in more recent times. But they don't have any bulletproofs to see through the smokes, so he could still have been very useful, but no longer in this round at least. I am curious to see how are they going to utilize all the utility. They still have some things to use. They haven't really done any hard breach with the Hibana yet. I don't know if they're even on the roof yet. So this is a very slow take coming up from CMU. Some engagements going down. I'm Toxicity. Did take some damage. I think that might have been the jet plane on the Aqua hold. And that's going to be a nice shot from Phoenix through the window onto that balcony. And that's going to be on Toxicity off the board.
Yeah, before I started coming into this 3v4 situation, I was just informed that the reason why he was TK is because he was using the pickle ring skin that was just recently after the game, so I find that pretty hysterical. But going right back to the important parts of the game, but Mac is already pushing his way into Sunrise. He's waiting for that drone to really go through, collect as much intel as possible. But it seems like someone's gonna be sitting inside office, and the drone didn't really clear him out yet. He's on the flank right now. You can see him coming, crawling towards his end, crawling right behind Boy Twitch, and hopefully it does not go through, but sadly Phoenix is ready and does actually take her off the board right there. This will be Twitch off the board, Toxicity's off the board, and Capital off the board as well. 20 seconds remaining, and not a single one of the defenders have been taken out by the attacker besides that one defender that had to be TK'd because of the skin. So, the 2v4 Phoenix makes a quick kill. Quad kill as well. Sadly got ended by Whalelord, but Whalelord used to run straight back onto site. There's going to be a defender directly behind him. I don't think he's fully aware of the situation, but Whalelord is not going to hear any of them whatsoever. Did the defender behind him even see?
He was on his drone, I think. I think it was Echo, maybe.
He was on the
I don't know.
Oh, it was a Valkyrie. A Valkyrie had to get on the cam. That's very unfortunate.
Okay.
There's not a single audio call right there, I don't think.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, they didn't even get a single kill on the attacking side. The only kill or death on the defense was the TK, as you mentioned. So really dominant round coming out from Buffalo to start us off. And they're going to rotate down to the second defense of Kitchen and Service now, which makes sense. I'm looking at the lineup. Nothing very different coming out. I do like the pick on to the Maestro and the Mira, actually, as Maestro will allow you to stop the smoke plants that people like to try to do. But there is a disconnect on the side of CMU. So we're gonna have to pause it and wait for them to come back here, and hopefully that'll be very quick. What'd you make of that first round, though? We can dissect that a little bit here.
Gosh, talk about a start. I mean, you can't really like expect too much. I mean, like it's technical issues, and one was an accident because of his skin, and they TK'd right away. So respect to them for actually dealing with it as soon as they possibly could, instead of being called out later. And it was a pickle Rick skin, so it was eventually going to be called out. That's a very obvious skin. It's not like a mountain foliage for like Maestro's headgear or something like that. That is a very noticeable headgear. So good for them to actually take care of that. I'm actually noticing that as soon as they possibly could, took care of him. And this is probably just technical issues right now, but it was a kind of a messy start, but hopefully it does start to pick itself up as we go through into the rounds. 1-0 right now. It's just the first round. Just the first round. I mean, once you start, you got to expect some sort of issues. No one's perfect, so we're gonna move right back into it. But of how aggressive the peaks were coming through, the quad kill from Phoenix though, that was nice. Now he was sitting around the office area for majority of that, I'm pretty sure, and he managed to get kill for kill for kill. That just shows like the intel and the communication isn't really there for the attacking side yet. I guess they're probably having issues between each other because of how chaotic the round was to start off. Though I can't really blame him too much, but it seems Phoenix actually utilizing the situation that he's been given, trying to take advantage of what type of situation that they're in, and then taking off head by head 4 kills in a row. And then sadly, he was ended right then and there. But he didn't lose a life. He didn't lose a life because Wailord had to run straight back onto site to try to do as much damage as possible. He could not.
Yeah, so he did manage to survive to the end, as you mentioned, and it's kind of funny seeing them run past that defender who just must have been on camera or something, just didn't see them, and they didn't see them either. So silly things like that happen from time to time. But as you mentioned, really good round from Phoenix, having that SMG in hand that you had mentioned, wasn't carrying the shotgun that we really do see smoke, or excuse me, Mute and Smoke both rock more traditionally. But you don't need 2 people on this map with the shotgun, really. There's only a couple rotates you can make, and you already had the smoke in pocket. Why bother having a second one? So it makes sense.
Apparently, when trying to rejoin, he pressed abandon.
Okay, so probably gonna have to rehost then.
Rehost might have to be.
Yeah, because I don't think there's any way to get him in otherwise. So we will have to take this time just to wait for the lobby to be remade. And
they're agreeing to
that's funny.
Oh, gosh, speaking of chaotic and a mess to start off, it just had to go one step further. But wait, we're here. We're just starting. We'll get back into it, and we won't have any more of an issue once we get back into it. Hopefully there's not any more disconnects, no more computer issues, internet issues, whatever it may have been, and no more accidental skins. So hopefully they're taking this time to look over their operators. So we don't have to do that again. Look over your operators, because I mean, who was the other person that got a Pickle Rick skin? Was it Sledge or something like that? I think Sledge got the other one.
Yes, it's the 2 SAS. Yep.
Yeah, so hopefully the person that threw on the smoke skin goes to check his Sledge real quick if he did buy both of them, just to make sure he doesn't have to take another bullet from his teammate, so he just jump right into it. Yeah, I'm still caught up on that Vigil ban, because I'm looking at it right now, watching the setup come through, and I'm just looking at the Vigil ban. I'm still so confused. Who banned him?
It would have been in Buffalo because they were on defense, so they had the first and last ban. It was the last ban that came through. And what I was thinking when it came through, I was like, this has to be a target ban. I was failing to come up with the name, but they're probably targeting a player. Probably looked at what they like to do on Coastline in a past game, or just in general. Maybe there's someone on CMU who just pops off with that Vigil. They're like, we got to shut him down. We can't give him that out.
It is Coastline as well.
That's true. And you don't want to, since it's such a small map, if you're seeing that signal that gives away the position of Vigil, it could really be up or down. It could be in a room next to where you think he is. So it is sometimes a bother when he is on the board to try and get his exact location. And so if you're trying to face check just because you know he's near this location, it really is quite dangerous sometimes. So I can kind of see the mentality there, especially without the Jackal on the board to help you locate him better. I can understand it. I still don't think it's the best pick, but especially if there is a player who really is good with them on the other side, it's not like a horrible pick in any mean.
Yeah, I agree with you that the target ban, if that is within their playbook and they talked about it, like this guy destroys and he shreds on Vigil, I can understand it, but he could just pick another operator with a gun that has barely any recoil and actually brings even better utility to the table. He could pick a Legion and not only have, I forgot the scope, was it 1.5 times scope?
Yep.
Yeah, 1.5 times scope, not only that, but he brings the intel traps that give off a giant, like, I don't know how to describe the noise, off, and then, okay, here's this guy over here. He needs to take the time to pull the goo mine out of his foot. Okay, now let me peek him. Like, when you're playing Vigil, you're running around. You're not like a Chimera and you're quiet. You have a thing that counters intel, but you still have the giant white lines to say, there's someone roaming over here. We could probably get someone over there and then get a redrone on it to get a better location when his ability runs out. He's not exactly a, I mean, he's a good operator, but his utility that he brings is not, in my opinion.
Right, I do agree with you. And what I did like when I was thinking about it is like you have the 1.5 on the mute with the MP5K. So that was good. And clearly Phoenix knows how to use that weapon, getting a quad. But the other thing that mute brings, which is really important on a second floor hold, is that like every piece of flooring on this is destructible for the most part. He has that C4 in pocket. If they try and default plant, if they do the aqua take that's pretty standard, try and plant behind the bomb chastity, he can just be right below and just throw that C4 up and get the kill on the planter pretty easily. And so having a C4 on your roamer below, especially on that bomb site, is just going to obviously have a lot of benefits. So I do see the mentality of bringing the mute. Now, what sometimes you'll see is mute hangs on to one or two of the jammers, and then we'll also put them in places where they're roaming so they can't drone in and find their exact location. So I'm curious to see if they'll do it. It didn't look like he did it last time, but it does look like everyone has loaded in. So we might be able to jump back in now after that short break, waiting for that player to be able to load back into the game here. And we're going to go to kitchen still, I believe, as the hookah was one. They can't go back there. And I think they have to stick with the same ops if I'm remembering correctly as well for the rehost.
Yeah, whatever their selection is. I'm not entirely sure about the rules when it comes to a rehost. But them, like you mentioned, the nitro cells from below, that's exactly why they had to ban off the jackal and the nomad, because the nomad can just block off staircases and say, okay, you want to use your nitro cell, good for you, but we're going to be locking off those staircases so you cannot come back up unless you have to trigger it and you have the time to come back up when your gunfight go through. You're causing an issue for the roamer to come back upstairs is the main purpose of the air jab, and then Jackal is just to flush him out, try to get him, not only kill them, but just try to get him away from the downstairs area so they cannot utilize their nitro cell. It's kind of just like herd sheep all the way back upstairs, so you kind of just like put them back into sight, and they can actually have like a little bit more of an efficient.
We saw some 6 picks come out on both sides. We're going to see Lion being brought, which is interesting. I'll let you talk about that, but the one I want to talk about is the Pulse, because I'm a little confused. This is a first floor bomb site. Why would you bring Pulse here? Normally, I mean, I guess to help with the sledge that's probably going to be above and getting the floor breaching going so you can have some verticality. But I feel like it's a dangerous game, especially when they have the IQ on the board. They can find you out very easily if you're trying to use that cardiac sensor.
Yeah, 100%. They will have to use a little bit more utility to actually try to take that vertical. It's the only person with any sort of soft breach. It seems to be the Zofia, unless I'm missing someone.
Oh wow, yeah, they didn't bring any breach charges. How strange.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I mean, I'd understand if they had the sledge, but they can't bring anything else. The only thing that they have is the Zofia. I was gonna question, is there like a secondary shotgun that I'm missing? But I don't think that there is. So they're kind of just stuck trying to utilize whatever type of soft breach that they have, which is obviously just the Zofia, and then on top of that. But what I do like to see is the Whale Lord. Is that Whale Lord bringing out the ace? That's what I expected from the beginning. I don't know why the Habana was a pick. I guess it is personal preference, so I don't want to question it too much. But it's nice to see ace back on the table. And then we were mentioning the line. Oh no! Speaking of the soft breach, toxicity is going to be dropped by the nitro cell that we were mentioning from before, and it seems like it was Pulse's nitro cell. That's going to be devastating. That's going to be horrible because that soft breach is already gone. The vertical play has already been taken care of. So the IQ can only really scan out the scanner of Pulse and no other nitro cells. They have another nitro cell. It would be on the mute. But back to what I was saying about Line before I was cut off by that huge kill from the defender right there. 2max is actually be running a Lion. That is an interesting pick. I guess it's to an extent a little helpful when it comes to roam clear, but you need to have that communication and just teamwork in general to be able to efficiently roam clear. Little damage actually does get traded off right there, but in the favor of the attacking side onto Jet Plane right there.
Phoenix
This
is
is
holding
not gonna
down
be too much-
90.
oh,
And the Whale Lord's gonna get the kill onto him, and then JJ's also gonna fall to Flossie though, and that's gonna give them the man advantage. These roamers upstairs are not able to hold out very long. Halfway through the round, they're already all cleared out, and now it's gonna be up to the last 3, and none of them have C4s anymore.
Yeah, that is going to be devastating. But they did get their first kill on the attackers, and it was looking pretty good. But like I said, this map is all about gun skill. It's not just all about that soft reach / hard reach. It just matters on who can actually take off as many heads as possible. Phoenix and Jet Plane are going to be off the board. That's both the roamers that they have to worry about. Down to the 3-4 situation. Minute counting down right now, and Flossie, you can tell he's on fire right now. He's ready to get going. He's trying to find another kill, but obviously utilizing the intel and utility first. My boy Pulse is going to be sitting, waiting for someone to just walk through bathroom side along with that Maestro, but it doesn't seem like anyone's really going to be coming through. But another kill's going to be going on in the attacking side's favor. It seems like that's going to be IQ taking down the smoke, and that's going to be huge because it's only 2 other defenders remaining on site. The Aldo's, of course, to be reckoned with, so I can't really say it's going to be too much of an issue for the bathroom hole. But that's going to be the line coming out, and the diffuser as well. That's going to be a line scan, going to be peaking a little bit, but it won't be enough because that will be the Aldo being utilized as well onto Lib. And Lil, and that's going to be Flossie running straight onto site to try to pick another one onto Pulse, but it does not matter. He is too late. The Pulse is going to be taking down another one, and that hold has been devastating for the attacking side. Lions here ready to actually try to take it down as much as they possibly can. But it seems like the Pulse, as low as he is right now, he may actually lose this gunfight, depending if he actually has the upper hand, and he does! Pulse and my boy Maestro on that beautiful hold. Doesn't matter if there was only 2 of them. They went kill for kill for kill. Even though a significant amount of damage was dealt through the Pulse, he actually managed to persevere and take down every single one of them with his buddy with the old hand.
Yeah, I believe that's Zigolo on the Pulse. He got the opening kill at the C4 and then continued to wreak havoc. He wasn't afraid of a 2v4 there, even after the smoke was taken out. I was actually just about to comment on how Smoke still had 3 smoke babes in his pocket, but he gets taken out. And so those don't matter anymore, and you're left with just the Maestro. But it's a really good gun to have in your hands. Not the gun you'd expect to pop off is Pulse with the ump, but he still made do with it. He's actually going to 6-pick right back to that same operator. Zigolo going back onto the Pulse away from the Malusi. But got to keep in mind, IQ is still being brought by Little Beatus, so we have to be careful of that engagement and see if he's able to avoid being detected, or even if he's detected, just not getting shot from being floor banged, really.
I like how we kind of just have like contrast, because we have Pulse and we have 3 separate nitro cells being brought from the defensive side, and then if you look on the attacking side, we have the IQ to try to counter, and you kind of need to have that fast reaction to actually utilize IQ's gadgets efficiently when it comes to those nitro cells and the Pulse scanner as well. But we also have the Fuse there, so the Fuse actually does deal with that vertical play with its little hockey puck explosives. And with Pulse to be there as well to actually throw out nitro cells and try to like pinpoint his location. Without an IQ there, that could be very dangerous. So they kind of go hand in hand, but it just depends on who can really outplay each other and who can actually come out on top as better vertical play.
And sometimes we see defenders do one of 2 things. Usually they'll extend out into the office and into the main lobby, or they'll do the vertical extension. And so far, I haven't really seen anyone wander upstairs yet. Could be wrong. I do think we see the Jaeger up there now, so they do have a little bit of an extension above. I'm curious to see how they're going to play this. Are they going to really try and hold and maintain control? But JJ is going to get a nice shot on the Flossie. What a headshot that was. And that's going to open up things for Buffalo. They've already won 2 rounds in a row. Now they have a man advantage early in the 3rd round here.
Gosh, that hurts, because I really wanted to see how they're going to be playing off with that Fuse. And JJ is just ready to say, hey, no, I don't want to see any of that. The only person I want to deal with right now is that IQ, and I am here going to be ready to actually try to counter that IQ play. But it seems like a gunfight's coming on to Phoenix, and Phoenix took way too damage to deal with it. And if Phoenix wants to stay alive for the remainder of the round, I suggest that they fall off, and as you do see, they do that right there. But ooh, that's going to be an SMG 11 kill onto the Buck. That's that soft reach off the board. The only other soft reach that they can really use right now is the Ash, and Ash is already taking a significant amount of damage. They're already down to 25 HP and ready to lose from there.
What a nice shot from Tumek, though. He's going to get refragged by Zigolo instantly. Whale trying to get a plant down. It is a 2v4, and JJ is going to get the kill onto him as they're planting, and now it's all up to the last one, but they're going to get taken out by Phoenix really quickly, and Buffalo get the full rotation, all 3 in a row.
Yeah, I did not expect it to just drop that fast. I'm sitting here, I'm like, yeah, it's calm. Yeah, good kills coming out. Seems like the only soft bridge coming out is from the Ashe. And then, oh no, everyone's dead. Okay, well, that's sick. I didn't expect it to go by that fast. I didn't know that the aggression was going to be really coming out from the attackers as much as they were in that little final bit of the round. I expected the gunfights to still be a little bit more slow because Phoenix was trying to play as aggressive as they possibly could, peeking the angle into the server. There's a lot of damage dealt in the attack in South favor, but Mute surprisingly actually got away with their life and managed to actually win off the round as well because the aggression. And it seems like, oh, like I said, the defenders just outplayed them. The defenders actually showed that they can actually outplay, outgun, and just out aim the attacking side. So hopefully it does actually start working in the favor of CMU this time because UV Alpha has actually been on top so far. It's 3-0. So and they said yeah they gave him a run for our money in the past, but hopefully they can actually live up to that name. I mean, I can't really say too much. It's Coastline. Coastline is not really a favorite in some people's eyes, so I will wait until Oregon and Villa to see actually if they do start to come out on top.
Well, they're going to go back to that first site that they had won. Up here in hookah and billiards. The other thing to keep in mind is this is Buffalo Alpha's map choice, so to see them dominating isn't super surprising. Of course, they're known as one of the best teams in the league, and they were undefeated in the regular season, and a lot of that comes on the back of gun skill. They certainly have the fraggers that they require. The other teams probably hoping to use a little bit more strategic play, and that's why they chose Oregon. For their map, CMU did. And so my guess is this is certainly playing into how they expected it to go, at least on the side of Buffalo.
Yeah, you bring up fraggers, but if you actually look at the stats of both teams, you can tell that Zigalo and JJ's. Well, this was post rehost, so I'm not entirely sure what the numbers were before this, but Zigalo's obviously been showing up even after rehost, and you can tell on the right hand side it hasn't been too hot. Toxicity has not been having a really good time when it comes to actually trying to come out and try to win those gunfights. Sadly, it has not been working in his favor.
Well, it's actually easy to remember the stats because it was just Phoenix getting the quad and there's a TK and
oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
CMU didn't get a single kill, so I'll just
forgot about that.
add 4 kills to Phoenix and we got pretty much the results in 1 death to each of the CMU members. That's pretty much where
I forgot how early on it was. I feel like after that whole entire moment where we had to get back, it felt like an eternity. So it just felt like I've been sitting through multiple rounds of the game. Is that a Twitch drone already down? I'd expect them to try to utilize a little bit more to use it for like the hookah entryway and try to see if they could try to stop any sort of jammers maybe, but they just threw it onto the cool vibe stairs and oh my gosh, Echo taking a significant amount of damage. The rotate clearly is not big enough for his life.
Yeah, some utility care is going to come out. That's going to be the shield off the board there for these defenders. It's going to be a little bit harder to hold that doorway, but they're still seemingly going to persist here as they do have indestructible walls, or metal walls, let's say. And that's going to allow him to still stay near the top of cool vibes. There's a man over in the VIP area, but JJ is going to kill on the Flossie. That was the Amaru. I don't know what the Amaru was doing. I was waiting to see where they were going to use her, but she doesn't get used really much here. A C4 coming out and gets a double, and that's going to be Tumic and Wellord off the board. That is going to give them a 5-2 advantage here. And these attackers not knowing what to do. Chodapus getting a little beat us as well. And I'm Toxicity all by their lonesome in a 1v5, trying to net a kill at least. Not have a flawless against them, but so far not able to find anything.
Yeah, that long arm Nitrocell kill was devastating, and sadly, I don't think Toxicity really has a chance because not only is Echo Drone ready there to stun. Oh, the shot went off before it actually did get the stun off. So there's a small, very, very small sliver of a chance of them coming out on top, but the aggression coming from the defensive side. There's a prone angle being held around the white stairs area. I don't think there's much of a chance the HP that they currently have right now. Another stun goes off, and Zigaloo. What do you expect? Zigaloo went absolutely crazy that round. You expect the flawless round, the final kill for the flawless round to come from his pistol as well. The shot came off, as you can tell, beautifully played as well. The little shoulder peeked into the final kill there. Amazingly played. That I still can't go over that long arm Nitro. So not only the lineup where the two players just like, okay, let's do the angle at the exact same time and come to the radius of the Nitro cell at the exact same time. Two of them at the same time. It's just, oh my gosh, beautifully played. You gotta give him props.
A lot of props to Zigalo, as you mentioned, doing really well. He's going to go on to the Legion. You said you liked the Legion pick. We'll see if he sticks with it. He did tease the Pulse, so I'm wondering if he will end up 6ing over to it. But that's 4 in a row now for Buffalo. They're going to go back downstairs to the kitchen service, which they had obviously won as well, seeing how they haven't lost a round yet. But he's actually going to switch over to the Melusi, not the Pulse.
How dare you? How dare you? I was just talking, I'm like, I like this guy. I like this guy. And then he gets on my list one more time by opting towards the Legion pick. I'm like, wow, I really like this guy. And then he had a 6 pick to the Lucy, and I absolutely all respect it. I was showing you as he went down the drain. So sorry, I love that you're 8-0 right now, but sorry, I cannot root for you anymore. I am now a CMU fan. But yeah,
First of all, my day is ruined.
my day is absolutely ruined. Thank you, Ziggler. But Ziggler actually opting towards the Malusi is probably the better pick. All jokes aside, the Legion, yes, I do like the Legion pick to come out. I did mention that's probably what they should be opting towards. But Ziggler, I'm gonna take a big guess that Ziggler is the person who actually played it, and that's where the target ban actually came from. But like I said, it doesn't matter. There's so many other operators that can play Vigil's role much better, and found his bread and butter and went straight for the Malusi. Did tease the Legion a little bit more, but went back to the Malusi, and probably gonna be sticking for it for the remainder of this entire defensive zone.
Keep in mind, Buffalo's the one who banned the Vigil, so even it was his own.
Oh,
team,
what?
So, yeah.
Oh,
so
never mind then.
you have to keep in mind that maybe he does play him, maybe, but he probably is just so comfortable on many different roles. We've seen him go from that Pulse to a Malusi, and pretty different guns, pretty different roles, honestly. I mean, they can both roam, but a lot of times Pulse will just kind of stay near sight and just kind of feed information to other people to work off of. So they are a lot of the times different roles. Their own fire arrow going to do a lot of damage to the Monty of Toxicity, so that really didn't play out to their favor. They're gonna have to retry that. There's no Wamai on the board though, so they can't catch these fire arrows. So if they can actually shoot them properly, they can certainly hold up certain areas. They're going to be going for what looks like a smoke plant take here into the surface entryway. I'm not sure if they're going to see it coming though. Dugan's not really watching, and they have the glass to also help out.
I was just gonna say it was probably really well executed, but Ziggler's already there for the Nitro, so Flossie is finally going to be able to get that trade off onto Ziggler as well. So that is going to be a decent trade. That's going to be the Monty off the board, so that will be a huge skill in favor of the attacking side. But with Ziggler off the board, he finally got his first death of the entire map so far. So they're ready to actually bring in the second line of defense, and as you can tell, they're doing it quite flawlessly.
Oh,
Sadly,
no.
the Claymore was going to end that. Phoenix was ready to actually take down Whaler, but Whaler is still ready for revival. You can tell right now that Maestro is ready to actually try to hold off this diffuser as much as possible. But all the hand diffuser has been picked up, so they're ready to try to get the plan half the time. Hopefully they do start getting that intel in. But JJ is currently in a gunfight right now around the main side, the main door side, and it seems like Free Fire's going to be coming out, and Floss is going to be dropped as a result. The trade goes through. Currently evened up in a 3v3 scenario with a minute and 10 seconds.
And look at Tumac and Whale Lords. They're going to have very little HP, so even the zaps of those Maestro cams can end their lives. And as time ticks away, it's only going to favor the defense more. And Maestro can just jump on those cams and try and deny it that way if he needs to. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do. Are they going to try and take the back here? We do see one of the ace charges was thrown onto it, but the mute is going to stop them from opening up the wall, so they can't even look into stock area. They might be able to make it work on the other wall, and it does. He's going to be peeking that square area. JJ realizes they have a drone on him, so he's going to rotate away, just try and buy more time, maybe get a rotate and flank them here. 30 seconds remaining here, though, and these attackers are going to have to do something. But my concern here is they look like they're all going to just try and funnel through that main doorway.
Yeah, and the rotation by JJ, I expect it to go actually commit towards the server side, but they're actually going to be falling off of it right now. Glaz is prone on the angle. I don't know what he can really walk out of. Yeah, he's trying to move in right now, but he's getting stuck. JJ is definitely going to be utilizing that flank right there, taking down one of them. Two Max is going to be dropped from the shotgun, and Smoke is ready to actually take down whoever watched that doorway, and Whaler has to commit to it. But sadly, the Maestro game is there to deny that whatsoever. And like I said, I was going to mention it, that every single one of them were on very, very low HP, so I'd expect that Maestro camp to try to be utilized to take down that little sliver of HP remaining, and as you saw right there, that's exactly what they did.
A little sliver of his head poking over through the grates there. I'm surprised he was actually able to see him. It's really hard. But he manages to get the kill. Zappy zap to death. Always like to see a Maestro cam kills. They're kind of comical. But in this case, what isn't really comical for CMU is they're getting blown out so far. 5-0 now. 5 in a row for Buffalo. And they're going to go to that last round of defense. Try and get a perfect half. They're going back to Blue and Sunrise. We're not seeing Pent, which is starting to fall out of favor, I believe, for a while now. Hasn't really been picked up, at least not in competitive play. And it makes sense. I do think this is the better bomb site as long as you know how to hold it. And with the Mira in play, it's certainly a lot easier to hold.
Yeah, Mira, oh my gosh. The amount of times I have to mention how god tier Mira's gadgets are and how badly she needs to have some sort of rework and or just it's a lot because she's a whole package of a defensive operator into one singular person. Her primary is the vector, the thing that just tears through any sort of attacker. Secondary shotgun opens up rotates. She brings a nitro cell. That's huge. Everyone likes to have a nitro cell to their disposal, and then obviously her main gadget is insane. Lock down a whole entire entryway, depending on who's running the mirror, obviously. Lock down that whole entire entryway if played correctly and it has the correct support, has the correct utility and everything. And it seems like they're going to be using the mirror to actually hold off service instead.
They did this last time.
They did do that. Okay, that's interesting. That is interesting. I'm actually ready to see. It doesn't seem like they're actually going to be opting for it to push that direction. So it's going to be a little bit more faced towards the mudroom area, maybe the blue bar window or something like that. But I'm ready to be amazed this week.
Yeah, Lil Beatus is going to be playing outside, looking into the entryway there. That the hookah, below hookah. I'm forgetting what that is even called, honestly. I'm just having a brain fart. I'm Toxicity trying to be engaged with JJ up top, and nice shot from Lil Beatus. He has the angle on the window of hookah. Gets a nice headshot. Phoenix also getting engaged below. I believe that's Flossie. Sigalo in the meantime going to get another kill to their name. That's Whale Lord off the board. That's going to be the hard breach, no longer in play. Phoenix getting burned as well by these arrows, but he's going to get the kill and then get refragged by the fire he had stepped into. So Flossie does get a trade with him. And now it's a 3v3. Sigalo, aware of the man on Kulab, gets a nice headshot for themselves. I'm Toxicity off the board, but he gets refragged, not knowing there's another player right next to him in bathroom. Tumak getting credited with that kill. Now a 2v2. Over half the round still remains, and these kills are coming in quick succession.
Yeah, it's been pretty even so far. You'd expect like a trade to just like go, or like a kill to go untraded at least once, but no, they went kill for kill. And it's funny because the Capitale managed to trade himself even after death. He had the Capitale bolt down and ready to actually trade himself. And intentional or not, obviously, probably not intentional. He just tried to block off the angle. And it's just kind of funny that it was still alive for your boy Phoenix to actually get dropped right then and there. But Tumac is ready to take a gunfight with someone in Sunrise, but with that tiny little pixel peek on the right and left-hand side, that crossfire is going to be deadly for Tumac. Definitely knows that there is a smoke in the right-hand side, so smoke be come from that general area, and to not see any sort of soft breach coming from either of them, the vertical can't really come through. The only type of vertical that can really come through is from the IQ's gadget to try to take care of any sort of utility. Obviously, we managed to take down two, but they have no hard breach, so it doesn't really matter if that should have been a priority. That should have been a priority for the IQ right there. It should be helping the Twitch in this gunfight with the mirror, but it seems to be being played very slowly. And it seems like the mirror and the smoke are waiting for an audio call to actually enter the room. Very, very aggressive shoulder piece right here. 30 seconds counting down, and the aggression needs to come from the attacking side to try to clear each and every single one of these defenders one at a time. And that pixel peek right there, that's exactly what Smoke is waiting for. They need to grab that little bit of a visual, but it does not matter. The Twitch is there. The trade comes through from the mirror, and a second one picked up as well. Mirror went on an absolute tear. That's 2 kills to their name, and that's going to be 2 Vector kills as well. What I said. That Vector is an absolute machine, and perfectly demonstrated right there by them.
Yeah, Chodip is on that mirror, doing work. A 1v2 after the smoke had been picked off, and with a good job being able to clean it up. I was curious to see who was going to win between the F2 and the Vector handlers of Twitch and Mira, and Mira comes out on top in that case. And that will give them that perfect half, 6-0 now. And Buffalo looking like they really they made a good choice choosing Coastline for the first map.
Oh yeah, it was definitely what they needed to show off that hey, if we can frag it just a little bit more than you guys, we can break it down to the essence of just soft breach and gun skill, and we trump you in any sort of situation. So, when it comes to just running around the map, when it comes to the roam skill, you saw JJ's been pretty effective on that so far. And to see the rotate come, or not the rotate, the switch sides, and it's currently at match point when they switch sides, so that really does speak volume. So to see the gridlock actually be chosen instead of the Nomad, because the Nomad was banned from the position, so they had to opt towards the gridlock as like a little backbone, a little bit of just an alternative, and he does do the job pretty well. So I can't really complain too much. He brings that secondary shotgun, primary is decent, brings the smoke grenades, and obviously you need that main gadget to cut off those rotates as well.
Yeah, the one op I can really critique here would be the Echo, or not the Echo, excuse me, the Rook. I was just looking at Echo. I don't think he brings all that much for a team. He brings you armor, which allows you to get down instead of killed by grenades. That's one benefit. But usually, if you're gonna be doing something like that, you want it paired with a dock, and that's usually on something like Consulate when you're doing the upstairs hold. You have a player on yellow, you play him to just get stimmed and has the armor to survive longer. You just want him to survive. after getting throwables just chucked at him like a bunch. That's like a very unique situation though. So in this case, he's not paired with the dog. So yeah, you'll get down, but a lot of the times people can finish you up. It's about a 50-50 if they can or not. And then the chance of you even going and getting them up, you could find yourself getting killed trying to help your teammate up. So there's a lot of questionable things that can happen bringing a rook that I just don't see the huge benefit compared to bringing another operator that could have helped him out more. They only have the echo for information, and they only have the mute for denial. They could have brought something else to help with those two things. I guess this is a map where you can be more flexible with your lineups, but I don't know. I just still will stand by it. I feel like there could have been a better pick, and he's almost dead just there.
Yeah, I can understand it, and I think their philosophy on that is to just bring an operator that can help them in those gunfights, try to give them a little bit more HP than they really need. And I do agree with you; they probably should have opted towards a different player or a different operator to go for it, bring a little bit more of an important utility. But as you can see, Flossy's probably a little bit more comfortable in that ACOG. Those long-range gunfights definitely need to be taken care of, and a lot of damage has been dealt because he's not been aware of the fact that his feet are completely open to that luggage doorway. And was ready to deal a lot of damage from whoever was actually the person to deal that damage to him. So they do need to make a decision on where they really want to push. They're trying to break down the play as much as they can. The damage has already been dealt to Flossy, so you can tell that this ace is ready to try to just finish off this one single soft roamer and then start making their way to the actual site.
I'm curious how they got that wall open on the backside. We see Ash below. Maybe they had Ash charge from below, try and help open up the back wall. Because I saw the Sludge does still have both of their grenades in pocket, and they could use them here potentially, but they're going to be having an aggressive defender playing near them. They already backed off a little bit. The ADS is on that doorway, though. It's going to catch the first grenade. Another grenade, it seemed like, came through. It might have been the Ash charge, and he's going to be killed by Phoenix with the Ash gun, so that makes sense. Chotapis is going to enter and get a kill onto Lil Beatus, and now they have a two-man advantage. They're starting to do that execute you had talked about, entering in through the Aqua area.
Yeah, already 3v5 situation. I mean, I don't want to say already, but the fact that they just both dropped like in the time span of like 15 seconds, that could be huge for the attacking side. To try to actually get that plant down, they don't have a single nitro cell to actually worry about the vertical, so they need to start worrying about guns fights. Sissy's going to manage to take down Zigaloo. That's going to be that sledge off the board, followed up with the Ash. The trade actually does go through in the favor of the attacking side. It's going to be a 2v3 situation. They have so much support for this diffuser, but it won't matter. The trade actually does manage to go through. Chotapis and Whaler get dropped. Toxicity is there for the trade and bring it down to the 1v1 situation. JJ on that upside down rappel around the Aqua balcony, ready to try to deal with the situation. I don't think Toxic is aware of the situation whatsoever. No audio call whatsoever. Waiting for an audio call from the attacking side. The free fire comes out, does not manage to pick up the kill. Going to be sticking to the diffuser as well, trying to get off the rappel, and probably going to be committing to the push. He needs to speed it up a little bit. Thank God the pixel's there for JJ to actually end off that little diffuse right there. Good half goes out, and Buffalo does manage to come out on top right there. That's so sad that we could not
7-0. 7-0.
7-0.
No. CMU, that feels bad, but at least it wasn't your map choice. That's the one positive thing we can say about this. They do still have their map choice of Oregon next. Oregon, very, very different. We've talked about this. This is going to be a map that's way more structured. It's going to be way more defender-sided normally, at least. It's going to give you a little bit... You can burn more time, right? You have to clear more things, open up more things. Versus here, we saw, oh, let's just rush right into Aqua. There wasn't really anything for them to clear there. They just walked in. They got the kill. Flossy was already hurt and then killed by the Ash. And then I don't remember who Chotapis killed on the entry there of Aqua. But either way, they're able to just use that aggression and their gun skills to get those kills. And they're already right next to the planting position. That's how small that map is. Comparatively, you can't really do that in Oregon. You have to really be careful of all the roamers. You have to take your time. So hopefully that'll be a little bit more of a boon for MCU, as that was not their best showing here, or CMU, excuse me.
CMU, yeah. I was gonna say it definitely wasn't, but you can't really point out anyone that did like necessarily bad. They all had very similar stat lines. It was 3-6, 3-6, 3-6, all the way down, and the bottom one sadly was a 2-6, but you can't really say too much about it. I mean, like, obviously it was just a play who could actually execute their plays better and try to come out on site. And we are, I believe, coming into a 5 to 10 minute break, so we can actually allow some of the players to fix some of their game through that. Did hear that one of them did have an audio glitch, so I'd give them that time to actually figure out what they can. Hopefully that we don't have any skins left up on the table as well, so we can actually have a thorough check instead of just a rehost time. So we will be going to that 5 to 10 minute break, and I've been Carr, this has been Goku, and we'll be seeing you on Oregon right after the break.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch it.
Hey everyone, welcome back. This is NECC. We're doing the Champions Division for Rainbow Six Siege. We're currently in the midst of a match between University at Buffalo Alpha and CMU Central Methodist. So we just watched a 7-0, unfortunately, Carol. Buffalo just destroyed them on the first map, but it was their map choice. Now we get to see what's going to happen on the second map. You mentioned Oregon.
Oh yeah.
This is CMU's choice, though. And so hopefully at least they'll have a better showing, but maybe we'll see them actually take the map and we could see that Villa third map.
Yeah, and I'm gonna start hyping my voice up a little bit more because how boring this map is. I'm gonna try to even up the playing field a little bit and try to hype up my voice instead and see if that actually adds on to it a little bit more. So you're gonna expect a lot more screaming out of me. I'm gonna be peeking this mic as much as I possibly can. But we just jumped straight into the ban phase right there, so I haven't really had time to mention the fact that there's probably gonna be hard breach. The Thatcher's gonna be coming out. That's obviously expected because that is the support to the hard breach. I expect the Ace ban, but from the weird bans that I've seen,
Maybe Maverick.
Buffalo. Yeah, yeah, maybe a Maverick, but you need to follow up with a Kaid. Oh, they're going to stick to the Nomad. Okay, I can understand that. I can understand the aggression coming from the defensive side, so you got to start bringing those air jabs, cut those off as soon as you can.
Leave me alone. I guess JJ likes to play the Nomad.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Mirror off the board. That's pretty common as well. She's actually really powerful on this map, especially that basement hold. So to see her taking off the board, not surprising at all. What do you think this last ban might be here?
I want to say Intel, but that Malusi is just a force to be reckoned with and needs to be taken off the board as well, because that's just something that the attackers struggled with not only on Coastline, but if they do it on here as well. What? Why?
It has to be a target ban.
It has to be a target ban.
Wait, no, it is okay. So it's Buffalo doing it again. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense. I get the target ban, but it's not needed, dude. It's not needed. You got to opt towards a better ban. I mean, don't get me wrong. You've been destroying, but you can't keep up with the cockiness levels as much as you possibly can. Obviously, it's a target ban, but dude, they can opt towards that Malusi. You got to take note of the other operators that just bring more to the table.
Surprised they left the Cade on the board, honestly. I know the mirror is important, but I still feel like sometimes people overestimate it. There is gadgetry to take those mirrors out, and we've seen pros leave it on the board, and they've been able to execute just fine. But that Cade really does deny so much. If you want to do like the meeting room hold for your third site, you can use the Cade to stop breaches from the stage area and then also an attic at the same time with 1K. You can deny the hatches down below here. There's just a lot that Cade can do for you. So them being on the board is going to make it a lot harder, I think, for these attackers. Now, the other thing we mentioned in the earlier, when we were looking at those bans, is I mentioned Maverick, but he's not being brought, and yet he does really make opening up walls so much easier. So what do you make of that? Do you think he's a necessary, or is this an okay lineup?
I think this right now is an okay lineup. You'd expect to bring the Maverick, yes, but you want to see the Maverick mainly when it comes to the games and the kids. That's where you expect to see the Maverick, because like I said, they would split the push where there's like 2 or 3 operators on the big tower area, with the Maverick trying to execute that wall as soon as they possibly could, and then the Master side push with either an Ace or whatever. And Ace is on the board, so you do expect the Ace to come out. So you expect an Ace there with whatever operators that they decide to split it up with, 2-3 or 3-2. Doesn't matter, but that's where you want to see that Maverick come up, because you want to bring another efficient hard breach to be able to clear off both walls and try to separate the defensive sides as much as possible. So that makes sense, and I think that might have just been a little bit of a VOD review when it comes to Oregon. So they have an understanding that they like to go downstairs first, maybe. So they didn't opt for bringing the Maverick, so I can understand that, because they're target banned. So I understand if they understood their play as well. So it's not really uncommon on that.
Well, the F2 being brought has nice black ice skin on it. We'll make note of it. 2-Mac, nice skin. But they're going to have to be using these utilities to clear out the Wamitis, but I honestly thought they could have just sent in a Twitch drone to start shooting some of those utilities off of the walls there. Instead, they didn't do it. Now we see the Twitch going into play. Maybe she'll be able to take care of some of the ADSs on the shield and elbow, but instead it is going to be shot and taken out. I don't know if they have any more in pocket. Looks like both of them are dead. So unfortunately, no more Twitch drones. 2-Mac will get that opening kill with the F2 onto Phoenix. Phoenix having that opening 4K on the last map. So this time he's not going to be able to do the same kind of damage on the first round here.
Yeah, you can tell JJ's itching for a kill right now, but he's playing it smart. He's playing it smart and holding back and waiting for a kill to come to him and not risking his life, because he knows that these people have the angles set up and he cannot risk that situation, especially for his defending buddies. And that's going to be a Zofia stun right off the bat. Twice in a row, Ziggloo needs to be aware of the audio call coming out, but he won't. Oh my god, the support's there though! Toxicity takes out one, Ziggloo comes back with the trade, but 2-Mac is there for the third. And that is going to be 3 defenders already off the board, and Toxicity is going to be the only attacker down. Diffuser's going to try to go through, but not going to be committed. Actually, seems like the commit is going to be through right there. Caillou does not get the audio call, but it doesn't matter. 2-Mac is there to actually take care of that counter. Oh, beautiful 180 right there coming from the Kaid, but does not matter. The reload had to come through. The prone was trying to bring him into a safe position, but Wheeler was there with the pistol to try to finish off that little sliver of HP that the Kaid had remaining. So sadly, did not come out on top. Beautiful execution though. So I'm happy to see that actually come out. To see CMU actually take a round from Buffalo. So
Already better than the last map.
Already better than last map. So I'm ready. I'm ready to see it come out. Ready to see them.
And this is their map choice. So
to have them say like,
good.
hey, that was Coastline. That was your map. Now you're in our territory. Now that's what I like to see. So I want to see them continue with this this momentum and just like be motivated to continue with this type of play.
Yeah, I agree. That was such a well executed push. I was surprised that the Twitch drones didn't help as much, but it didn't matter. The concussions did still go off even despite being caught. I guess the range just wasn't far away enough with those Wamidas, and so they still get concussed. They can't hear the push. Yes, they have a teammate who can refrag, but by that time they had already pushed up too far, and so they already got the control. They don't have time to reinforce that wall either, so Elbow now has that rotation still opened up. They had the man advantage from getting the kill earlier onto Phoenix, who was playing that position, I believe, over in the pillar area on one of the Goyle shield. So that's just good play coming out from CMU. And honestly, it was a bit too much aggression on Phoenix's part, I think, peeking that angle. He kept peeking it, and then he got his head blown off for it. And then on top of it, just the awareness not being fully there. You can't fully blame. I don't remember who that was actually on the elbow position. I think it was it Zigolo?
It was Zigolo.
Yeah, so you can't blame them though, because they were concussed, so they couldn't really hear much. But at the same time, it's like you kind of let them push up too far, and now we just gave a huge power position up. So hopefully for Buffalo, they can play a little bit better and maybe hold back a little bit on the peaks.
Yeah, I think what really came out there from CMU is that they are fully aware, especially from the coastline map, that they play aggressive and they try to take angles when they feel like they should be taking angles. So when they just sat back and waited for the defenders to peek them, that was the smart move, because Phoenix was the first one to drop, and then Ziglu sat behind the shield, and that's when they started to play a little bit more defensive. Obviously, there was a lot of time that they used up, but it was smart to take that very slow approach. And like you did say, the audio call obviously could not have come out because of the stun, the Zofia stun on Ziglu. But in that situation, since the sun is coming out, there's going to be a hot push from the attackers. So they're going to be running straight in afterwards. So you have to have some free fire set up and ready to take care of that, because your visual's not completely destroyed, and it's just your audio. So your visuals are still there, so you could manage to actually come out on top in that gunfight, but obviously do not take whatever type of advantage you had in that situation because of the recent stuff.
Well, they're going to be doing the same kind of clear, shooting the utility, giving away positions. The Twitch drone does its job this time. It's going to take care of those ADSs. So Wamai has to get out of that position. They're going to reinforce the wall and elbow and just make sure they can't push through that rotate like they did last time. And that's just unfortunate they lost that power position, but they did burn enough time potentially.
Yes.
And Phoenix with a nice shot on the Flossie. That's going to open things up for Buffalo this time. They have that man early, and that's going to put them in the driver's seat with only a little over a minute remaining.
Yeah, I like to see that, because I was going to say the push that they had already into construction is going to be huge for the attackers, but then you saw Phoenix hit that hard flank onto Flossie. Oh no, Turmac is actually taking down JJ as a result of the progression that they have made, but the diffusers are already down. They're completely unaware of Phoenix's flanks right now. This will be 2 kills of the favor of Phoenix. And he might actually pick up a third. No, the trade does go through. Warlord headshot onto Phoenix, which I thought he could only see his feet, but it does not matter. The diffuser being down, they need to be aware that they're going to be very aggressive right here. They're fully aware of it. That's going to be the Kaid taking him down as well. Smoke canister out. This could be a significant amount of damage onto the Twitch, but the damage that's dealt to Smoke right now could be a lot. Direct takedown and a kill, and that's going to be a trade. Ziglu's going to be coming through onto Lil Penis, and Duncan is going to be taken down with that SMG-11 onto whoever that last operator was. I could not quite catch it, but well played right there. The amount of HP that Smoke had, you'd expect a little bit more of a defensive play, but he was sitting there ready to actually support his team no matter how much HP he had. So props to that type of play right there. And plus those toxic babes wasted a lot of time.
Yeah, I was going to point out Dugan on that Smoke. He was doing really well. I was going to point out that he had done a lot of work with the Smoke babes, just choking him off, buying more time for his team. And I want to point out a teammate on the other side, though, Tumek on that Twitch. He got a triple, and then last round he got a double. He's certainly trying to help his team do a little bit better than last map. And so far, he's had mixed success. That first round, really, he did set the tone and help them out. This time, though, the rest of his team wasn't able to quite pick up the kills that he needed to support But he will be switching over to that Maverick. We talked about how important that is. You mentioned that it's more important on the top floor site. Well, they just won downstairs, so this is what contemporary wisdom would tell us. They're going to go up here now, and, well, he's going to switch over, like you had predicted, over to that Maverick, because this is, as you said, the bomb site that you would like him to be in your lineup for.
Yeah. But can you tell that I've been casting Oregon quite a bit? It's funny. No, it's funny because I don't think I've actually had this luck when it comes to, I don't want to say luck, I don't know if it's luck, but when it comes to these like predictions, I've been flawless so far. When it came to the band picks, and for the most part, when it came to the band picks on Coastline, I was pretty flawless. I think I got 3 out of 4. I think, and I also got the idea that they need to bring that Maverick in. Thank God they have an understanding of what type of default play they need to start coming out when it comes to its bedroom area. So to see that actually come out, I'm happy to see that they are on the same page as everyone else that plays this map and every single caster's. I'm pretty sure every single caster knows every single like team's playbook in this entire league because of how much this is played. So yeah, to see it come through, we're going to see, like I said, he's just going to be opting towards the master side, get those drones out, try to take as much area control as possible. And he has the long-range heartbeat, so you can just throw it into the closet. Hopefully that there is no ADS setup in there, but that's what you do expect. And the Aruni, I didn't even realize that there is an Aruni gadget set up, but actually going against what I said as well, they're actually be opting to the big window side, so I'm really curious how they do execute this.
Well, I have the Capital. They brought him last time. Didn't have much success with him, to be fair, in the last map, but maybe they can do better here. He is going to be allowing them to have that smoke plant possibility, but they didn't actually go in that direction like we expected. We're going to see the Roamer getting taken out by Flossy. Whale Lord earlier had just taken out Dugan as well, so these attackers looking like they're ready for another round for themselves, but Ziggler has something to say about it. He's going to refrag on to Whale Lord. Now it's a 3v4, not quite the same deficit they found themselves in just a moment earlier.
Yeah, the 3v5, that's going to be huge for the attacking side, because that's the Defenders off the board, but you can tell right now that this Kaid is ready for another gunfight, waiting for the aggression to come out. You can tell that the Twitch is ready to see something come out of the defensive side, because they did make a lot of progression on the attic area and as well as the trophy side, but sadly did not get that closet wall open. And ooh, Flossy taking out Zigaloo as a response to his kill on Whalelord, and that's the coverage off as well. Flossy was dropped as a result from JJ being absolutely upset that their boy is going to be taken down as well. But Lil Beatus is going to be sitting there getting those free fires out. You can tell JJ is ready for this little bit of a gunfight right now, one situation, but he's not ready for T-Mac to peek. That rotate from the attic side is going to be taking care of him while he's in mid-sprint, which is going to be very important.
Well, these attackers are looking pretty strong so far on what is considered a very defender-sided map. They've already had 2 of the first 3 rounds. Now, what is the defense of Buffalo going to do? Are they going to go back upstairs? Looks like they are going to attempt it another time. Last time they attempted downstairs, the second time they won it, so maybe it'll be the same thing here. Just got to learn from our mistakes the first time around. But what do you make of trying the same bomb site twice? I know a few other casters like Fellow and that do not like trying the same site 2 times in a row.
I like how you mentioned Fellow and not Inferno, as if he doesn't mention it every single stream he's on. Like every time. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like every single time I guess he's like, oh yeah, same site. I'm like, oh yeah. Last time. But yeah, I agree with them, because when it comes to the attackers, their job is to have an understanding of what the defenders are doing and how their setup is going to be coming through. And if you're going to be playing the same site twice, then you're going to give them that understanding that they are going to be, or how their setup's going to be in general. So you don't really want to give them that upper hand in any way, shape, or form. And by going 2 times in a row, you're giving them that upper hand. So hopefully maybe they're changing it up, and I think they really do need to change it up because of how aggressive, how well the attacking side's been playing so far. So obviously they need to have something cleaned up, and they need to have some shocks set up on that game's wall. The Rooney gadgets are still set up, and I was going to get to an explanation about Rooney's gadgets. I'm not a huge fan. Like, I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm saying that they can be huge in those last second situations. You can really trap an attacker like outside of that little gate. Yeah, you need to have the attacker completely rethink their plays based off those Rooney.
Right, I agree. I mean, we've seen her being brought in pro play, on this map especially even, just because she does bring that. You have to waste some sort of utility, or I believe it's 40 HP, which is quite a lot, to walk through that gate. So it's not something that's easily taken care of. No matter what, it's costing you something, versus something like a castle can just be sledged, and it doesn't really cost you too much. So there is something to be said about this gadget. We'll see if there will be changes in the future. But as of now, they're stuck to deal with it. Looks like they're ready to deal with it whenever they need to. They might be going for this execute on the big window, but in the meantime, JJ on the other side of the map, it seems, is going to take out Toxicity. That is going to be the Zofia off the board. So taking care of the shield is going to be a lot harder now. They're going to only really have the Maverick grenades to try and take care of that shield that was looking towards Trophy.
Yeah, and already used every single one of their cap examples. Since Velocity is ready to take whatever angle. Oh my gosh, you expect that to be a headshot kill, but I guess whatever the soft reach was, managed to suppress it a bit. Velocity actually did get away with his life right there. And Dugan, his little creep right there, I don't think he's aware that he did actually deal some damage to him. So he's going to be taking a step back and not realizing that there's going to be a little bit of aggression shown there. And you can tell this is a Rooney gadget. It has that perfect reset from that vertical angle. That's actually really clever. I like that type of setup right there, because typically you expected a defender have to take that really risky play to reset it. But with JJ downstairs in that realm, he could actually take care from that vertical. And speaking of vertical, right above him in Trophy were two attackers that he fully could have flanked, but he has a job in the security area and he needs to stay there to actually take care of that Rooney gate as soon as he possibly can. So he's not going to commit to it just yet until they give him that call out. They're all back.
Yeah, and they're going to be waiting, playing that patient game. We see Rooney below, could be waiting for another flank opportunity. So these roamers seemingly like they're in good positions, but it's all going to be based on timing. There are still two members of the attacking side over in Trophy. Flossie going to get a kill onto JJ, but Phoenix will be refragging them. They were playing together on that roam, which pays off for them. They still have that man advantage, 30 seconds only remaining. So these attackers are going to have to start moving into sight whether they want to or not, whether they are ready or not, because this time is going to continue to tick away. Less than 30 seconds here. They're going to be lining up and getting taken out. Chotapis gets a trade with Little Beatus, though, so that does allow these attackers to possibly have some map control here. Chumak is still taking some damage. Looks like he was getting electrified, so that must have been over on the wall of Attic. Chumak is going to have to start playing with his teammate, though, over in that area of Trophy. His teammate down, though, and that's going to pretty much spell the end of this round. Ziglo getting that kill. Tries to push in, but Dugan will put him out of his misery, and we're going to be tied back up at 2-2.
Yeah, this is the type of play that I expected out of that situation. The roamers that they had set up, I expected some sort of flank to actually come out and be as effective as that entire round was. And to see the trade come off from the roamers, so it's nice to see that they were close enough to be able to execute whatever trade that they needed to actually stop whoever the attacker was downstairs. I'm pretty sure it was Toxicity who was the Zofia, maybe? I'm not entirely sure. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe Flossie who got a kill, and then
it was Flossie. It was
yeah.
Flossie. Yeah, Flossie took the Jaeger, and then I think Phoenix was there with that Rooney to take care of his head as well. And instead of the Valkyrie from the laundry supply area going to the Goyo, which is understandable, for a second I thought we were still in the kids area. So to see that the Goyo pick over in the kids area, I was actually going to be quite surprised. But to see the intel to be opted off to actually bring the shield in that little elbow area, to actually commit to that, so that's an understandable 6 pick. Just try to throw them off a little bit more. And I'm pretty sure they were expecting it, so they're sitting there waiting for the Goyos to come out. And once they saw the lineup, they're like, who would they be taking out most out of their entire? I think they can make the assumption that Valkyrie probably would be taken out, because they've been sticking to the Wool Mine, they've been sticking to the ADSs. They probably need that shock on the table, and that smoke can't really just switch off of it is. So it's pretty much inevitable that they need to switch off that Valkyrie into the Goyo to actually match up with their plan. So if they actually do pay attention to that type of stuff, then they would undertake it.
Right, and it honestly makes the IQ pick a lot less valuable. It doesn't really bring you a lot. There's no utility that you can really clear with her gadget, as the floors are all destructible, or indestructible, excuse me. And so what are you going to find? The K charges that you can't shoot. Nothing else. The ADSs, which will be put in places that you can't really see. Maybe it can like point out roughly where they are to the Twitch so they can use their drone. Like, that's not the best use of it. So
I think it's call outs. I think it's mainly call outs. Like just see through walls and like, okay, here's how they're setting up, get ready for it.
Okay, fair enough. Looks like there are no Wamai discs being thrown over there, even though Wamai is on the board. So these ADS is almost taken. I'm not sure if he got the second shot off quite. There's still maybe one ADS, but it's a lot easier to clear one than two. So they could easily clear this shield if they're not aggressed from that doorway or from the pillar player with that shield. So far, it's just the calm before the storm.
Yeah, I'm questioning the type of play that they're going for right now. They're doing a 1-4 split, and the other operator that's flanking around is location. Oh, that will my match is not going to be helping out very much. The very aggressive peek coming from 2Mac. The trade does manage to go through from JJ, but Ziggler's going to be taken off as a result. That is going to be a decent trade, but I'm pretty sure that both Twitch runs have already been used, so the utility has already been used. It's not going to be too much of an impactful kill, but to see that elbow be taken is going to be huge as well. But they're not going to be committing to it anymore, it seems like. Phoenix is ready for another push to come through, but they're going to be opting for the upstairs push. Flossie was that last remaining operator that had unknown location of, and he's ready to see some sort of visual to come out. Trying to vault over to see if he can get a better angle, and you can tell that this Caillou is in some trouble right now, and he does actually manage to get the visual in his favor. Pixel actually might work out. Yeah, you can tell the free fire is coming out. He did manage to see him, and with the little line of the shield, that could be the end of Flossie.
Yeah, Flossie in a really precarious situation, trying to get this kill. We noticed there was some fire when we switched over to his cam, and he has used both of his fireballs. He's going to use one of the smokes now, still has one in pocket. We're going to see an aggressive push up from the Goyle, and he'll get that kill. That's Phoenix getting that kill, giving them the man advantage, and only a minute remaining. There's not a lot of diversity to this push. They're all going to start funneling down the laundry stairs, and they're not going to have much map control. So this is going to look like a slaughterhouse if they aren't careful, as they don't have any control, as I mentioned, and all three of them are packed together. A nice C4 here from either of the Cade or the Goyo could really spell disaster. One does come out, it's going to miss, and they're just going to be playing time. But with the smoke still on the board, he still has one more smoke babe after this one disperses, and the C4 in pocket. I don't think this is looking very doable for these attackers. The smoke is just going to completely miss. He throws it to the left a little bit too much. They're going to try and choke away the point of lines of sight, but Dugan's just going to get the kills anyways. They're not aware of his position. JJ and Phoenix help clean up those last few attackers, and Buffalo, for the first time, are going to have a round advantage.
Yeah, I was going to say, you mentioned the map control is not going to be too helpful. I don't think they were throwing in any sort of intel. The Toxic Babe was just there to waste time, and once they start to push, get the initial push to go through, I was going to say this is just going to be a grinder as they start going through that doorway, and it's going to be dead. That's exactly what happened, because they had the crossfire ready, they had the intel, they realized that they're not going to be taking the push through construction anymore. They probably already had default cams set up elsewhere, so they're giving the audio calls from wherever the cams were set up. So it's entirely understandable that they were just focusing that one entry point, which was narrowed down to that little double door, and they were just ready for the peak to come through, even though the smokes were placed beautifully, but the defenders obviously worked their way around it, and they were ready for it.
Well, since that is 2 rounds in a row, they will, for the first time and for the last round of defense, go to a new site. We haven't seen it before. They are going to opt for that meeting hold instead of going with the dining kitchen hold. It's the kitchen meeting hold. And I actually prefer the site myself. And I was kind of happy because I thought I saw a Cade, but they switched away from the Cade. And I feel like Cade's far more valuable than the Bandit would be, as he can put one Cade and get both those 2 walls that Bandit is banditing right now. And he can get the 2 walls up above with just 1 cage.
I like to see the castle, though. I like to see that.
That's true.
I didn't realize that there was a castle on board until just now, like when you were talking.
6-pick.
Oh, it was a 6-pick. Okay, that would make sense then. Because having that secondary shotgun is going to make that possible, even though the mute is ready. But that is the primary gadget of the mute, so you got to utilize as many of the shotgun shots can cancel, because that's not going to be his main weapon of focus when it comes to trying to get into gunfight. So when you see Mute trying to hold those tight angles, he needs as much ammo as he possibly can, depending on how aggressive the attack that's playing, obviously. But so to see that castle come out, I'm really curious what angles that they're blocking off in it. And you can really tell how their plays are set up based off of where their castles are set up. Because that being said, if you see it, okay, there's probably someone holding behind that, or that's an angle that is huge for them and they need to block it off, or that will be the end of their play. But very aggressive. Speaking of plays, you can see the Jackal is ready to go and trying to find some sort of visual on the defenders. There's some holes opened up coming into the shower area, so they're aware that there's some sort of roamer in that general area, but they need to find them first. It doesn't seem like they're going to be utilizing any turrets.
There's a player playing right here in front of Tumek if they're not careful, but it's actually in the security room, so it doesn't have the lines of sight, and it is castled off, so he's not really going to be able to hear out into that hallway very well. Might have got the sound cue from the barbed wire, but it's questionable, really, when you have a castle there blocking off the doorway. So curious to see what they're going to be able to do here. The Maestro Cam will be feeding that information now that we see the angle that it's holding. And something to keep in mind as well, JJ getting a kill on the Flossie, certainly you need to keep that in mind, has a nice angle from the hatch above. But I was going to point out, since it was a 6-pick, they're not as aware of the castle, and they didn't bring much to take care of it. They only have the Zofia charges.
Yeah, and I like the double drone going through right there. There was a drone on the doorway, JJ took care of it, and there was another drone going through, and another angle opened up. He finds another one of the 2-Mac. That's going to be the Twitch off the board, and I don't know if they took care of the Maestro cam yet with that Twitch, but with her out of the way, that could be huge depending on what type of intel has already been used. But the flank of the white stairs is already being covered by Bandit, where my boy Phoenix, and waiting for a peek to come through. The support from JJ is lovely to see, but the Thermite is all by himself. Actually, besides then, going to be a Zofia, I believe. So, Capital, rather. Or, no, that's not Capital, that's Zero. I'm misreading my emblems right now. So seeing Zero actually set up as well, he's ready to try to take care of that vertical play from the Jaeger. A little damage just going off right there, but I think that might have been from a horizontal angle. 50 seconds counting down. Toxicity is going to be taken down by Phoenix, and that's going to be the support that they need to continue on this hole.
Yeah, 2v5 now, and you mentioned Zero, and then the hard breach Thermite, and that's all they have in their hands, and that's not a lot to work with. Will get a kill on the Ziggler, though, so that's going to help them at least get one kill, but it's instantly refragged by Dugan, and now it's all up to Lil Beatus, and he's trying to contest with the player. Insecurity gets one, but doesn't watch the rotate, almost gets taken out. Does a lot of damage, but he's going to walk right into that Alda, and Chodapus is going to take that round, and now they actually can walk away with the 4-2 split that you're kind of used to seeing. The pattern was 1-1-1-1, but they are managing to break away and get a little bit of an advantage here, a 2-round advantage.
I'm excited to see how they play this now, because CMU played really well when it came to attacking, at least the first couple rounds, because like everyone says that the first couple rounds of some sort of comp match is their time to adapt and have an understanding of how they play on certain maps. So once they get an understanding of that, they'll be able to adapt to how they play, the aggression that they show, what type of plays are coming out. Because like it goes two ways. Because like you said, you don't want to see them go to the exact same site twice. If you understand that this is how they're going to be splitting up their push, then you could probably utilize that information in a way that you can alternate the way you play and try to make sure that they don't have that upper hand. So clearly, you can tell that Buffalo has an understanding of how that really goes through, and they obviously adapt to the point where now they're 2 rounds ahead of them. So hopefully, the defense for CMU actually is a bit better than what their attack was. Hopefully, what they did off. What happened?
Oh, I'm looking at the lineups, and they gotta be very careful on the defense. They didn't bring a Wamai or a Jaeger. And
no.
They have 2 grenades in the Maverick's hand and 2 grenades in the Yana's hand. So plenty of projectiles can be thrown in. They also have both Ash and Zofia and the smokes. So they can certainly burn away these Aruna gates. So there's not really a lot to protect them from these grenades that could sail in. So they're just gonna have to be very heads up.
Yeah, I guess so. They need to get that intel out, because they kind of deserve a punishment for that. Like, I mean, this is their play. Don't get me wrong. This is their strat book, so I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is a horrible play, because I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen what they can do, and never mind. Prove me wrong. It's dropped right off the bat from Toxicity. And that's going to be a very early pick from that Spawn Peak as well. So Phoenix definitely is not too happy about that. But I was going to say there's going to be a misplay here from either side, but you expect it to come from the defensive side because of that lack of that ADS and or Wamai magnets. And with those gone, that's why I want to see that intel come through. And I almost want to yell at the attacking side and say, hey, you can use your grenades as much as you want to. Get in there. You can take care of anyone you want with ease, depending on if you get that intel. And thank God the trade comes through. You can see JJ taking care of Flossie. That's going to be that Rook, that very aggressive Rook as well.
I was going to mention the Rook. Our doctor on the last match doesn't bring a whole bunch of utility. Could have been that Jaeger. Had he died, even on the Jaeger roll, he would have ADSs. What did he bring you this time? Some nice vests that help you survive a little bit more, I suppose. Which, I don't want to undervalue it, but it certainly isn't as valuable. I don't think anyone would ever argue that it is. I mean, seeing Zigolo just, practice his aiming onto his teammate's head, decides not to shoot, luckily. But his drone's still being mute jammed, so he has to wait for this to be cleared out. And before it is, unfortunately, the drone is still sitting there, and the defender's able to shoot it. So that's the drone wasted. And the Maverick having a little bit of a rough time opening up this hole, and there's also a Rooney gate on it, so they have to be aware of that and deciding on what they're going to use to get rid of it. I believe the yeah, the Renegade will be taken out by the Gemini. In the meantime, JJ does get a kill on the 2-mech. That's going to give them a man advantage. There's only a minute remaining, so they're going to have to figure out exactly how they want to push it. They're also opening up the wall of closet, which I really like. I don't think we saw CMU really do that, so I like the dual push. It's a lot more diverse.
Yeah, they need that support when it comes to the attacking, or not the attacking side, but the beat, because that shield that's set up right there and that very close angle being played with that shotgun needs to be taken care of as soon as possibly can. They need to bring out that prone angle because of it. So no, the prone angle from the view, and hopefully it does work in the attacking side favor, and it definitely does. JJ takes care of the situation, bring it down to the 2v4 situation, and JJ is here ready to take care of whatever. And he's just been made aware that there's no ADS set up, so he didn't need to burn them. He needs to run in there and try to take care of these kills, and whatever nades in hand need to be utilized, and that's going to be the ace taking care of that last defender until that 1v4 situation. Grenade being thrown, the diffuser going down as well, and no audio calls whatsoever. Aggression is now going to be expected from the Aruni, but there's going to be little to no aggression come from the attacking side. I was about to mention until Duke and proves me wrong and takes the head off of Whale Lord. I was going to say, play a little bit more supportive and play defensive since the diffuser is down, but clearly he wanted the kill, and the pre-fire coming out was beautifully played as well.
Yeah, job well done. That attack, despite the spawn kill, they were still dominant all the way after that through. And now they're up 5-2. So 3-round advantage. They're starting to pull away, which is interesting because they went 4-2 on defense, which isn't abnormal. But each team winning their first round of attack is a little strange. But hopefully we can see CMU correct it, as they're going to do the same thing as we saw Buffalo do. They're going to go back to that same site, see if they can hold it better the second time around.
Yeah, definitely. And I like to see Buffalo come out on top first round the same way CMU did. And I like that momentum that they showed. They showed that, okay, we can actually come out on top, and that interesting 6-pick decision. I guess they didn't really need it. But I do like to see the Iana. I love Iana. Iana is an amazing operator. The amount of intel that she brings, like the unlimited amount of utility to actually deal with the Aruni gates as well. Obviously limited by the round timer, but it continuously repeats, and you can just use as much as you want to help out to take down whatever arena gadgets you can actually walk into depending on where it is placed. So to see, yeah, so to see like that entire 3-way right there, which I like to see as well, because I didn't really think of that before, because that is exactly where you see the Maverick push come through, and to have that Aruni gate be able to set up and to block that off, that can be huge unless you do not bring that Ion.
Right, and the other thing that she brings is nades, but the Gon 6, a recently added addition to the game, is a backup weapon. That gives you soft destruction capability, so the shield could be taken out by her as well. And so just bringing someone who brings a lot of different pluses, we'll say, as an operator, I do think that this lineup is very strong, and you were mentioning why. But they did correct something on defense, which is they brought the ADSs with the Jaeger, so I'm happy about that. I'm also happy to see the Frost pick, because a lot of times people really don't expect it, and especially when it comes to last-second pushes. If it comes down to it, you're a lot more susceptible. Don't always think to look down.
Yeah, it's definitely like a last second situation gadget where everyone's like, their nerves are firing, and they're like, they need to get on as soon as they can. Especially with the arena gate set up, it could definitely help that as well. But unless they 6-pick to it, they are pretty much aware from the beginning. And once they see the Frost come out, they're like, oh, they're gonna 6-pick to a better operator, but they didn't this time. And I don't know if they 6-pick to it or not, so I'm completely ignorant of the situation. Either way, that could be huge depending on their awareness of the situation and what type of intel that they're giving out. But Buffalo, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually gave it out. And oh my gosh,
wow.
Whale Lord going some aggression on Phoenix and taking him out of the game right then, or out of the round. And T-Mac is ready for the down and ready to go through as well. But Waylord is not finished. Fire's coming out, trying to hit that prone angle, and actually downs him in the process. That's going to be 2, and he managed to get the revive as well. Flossy's going to be adding on to the fun to take down Ace right there and bring it down to 2v5 with only 1:30 remaining, and that is huge right there for the defending side.
Well, so far, when defenders have gone back to the site, they've won it every time.
Oh,
so
yeah.
maybe this goes against the conventional wisdom of fellow Infernosis, and maybe even yourself. I've never really had a strong stance on that opinion. I feel like it's all context-based, right? And in this case, they certainly look like they're learning from it. Zigolo is going to get killed on the Flossy, trying to bring this round back for them. They're still in a 2-man deficit, and there's only a minute remaining. And Dugan's drone is also being caught by a mute jammer, so the information is also being denied. We see Iana go on the rappel, see if they can find anything for themselves. Probably maybe rotate over to one of the windows, like the big window, or I guess they're going to actually go all the way over towards the bedroom balcony area. This is interesting. Are they doing a full rotation?
They kind of need to, because the big window is very, very dangerous to actually deal with. And I like little fake Gemini, and hopefully that they're aware of the situation. Oh, the visual went through, and hopefully the pre-fire does as well. And he's in a very different situation right now, and the grenade going on, he needs to rotate off of it. Gone 6 in hand, so cannot use the pistol. The reload needs to come through. And I believe that they saw the rotate go through into the closet area, and it was pretty much an inevitable death for Toxicity there, because the nade's coming through, and sadly that's going to do gun off the board from that shotgun, and there's going to be no time for swing. Top pre-fires coming out. Does actually manage to pick up that triple kill, but this is going to be someone to the right-hand side. No audio call, no call out from his teammates, and sadly, Sumac is going to be taking that and take a look at the situation. Well played, though. Well played. If the positioning and timing and everything else was set up correctly, they probably could have come out on top, but sadly, it wasn't.
No time.
Yeah, there was no time to even get on there because of the barbed wire. But, you know, it happens. You just got to learn from the situation. You got to have an understanding that these defenders are now going to be playing very aggressive. I like to see CMU to show that aggression and to take that authority back and say, I know you guys are winning rounds right now, but we're not done yet. That's not 7-3 right now, or that's not 7-2. It's going to be probably 7-5. Their philosophy needs to be 7-5, or their goals need to be 7-5 at this point, and they're not done yet. It's not the end of the round. You need like a little bit of a Mamba mentality to come out right now and say, hey, we're not done yet. The game's not done. No celebrating just yet. Just because you have a 2-round difference on us, it doesn't matter. We're still here. We're still here to play.
And that's good. They haven't given up. It's clearly showing in their gameplay. And you mentioned they had aggression. I do think Phoenix was actually being the more aggressive one, just pushing in. I don't think they have really done enough drone work. And Whalelord did punch him for that. So he got a nice kill. And Whalelord actually got the second kill as well. So Whalelord is doing a lot of work for his team. And then able to really secure the round because they're able to just ride the wave from there. But I do find it interesting that they're going downstairs now, and they're not going to be bringing the Wamai like we saw before. And this is where my criticism is just going to get a little repetitive, but had Flossie not brought a Rook, bring a Wamai. He still has a 1.5 on his MP5K. It's not that much different, honestly. I don't get it.
I mean, like, obviously, Rook himself is a decent operator when it comes to dealing with HP and actually trying to win those gunfights. And I can, to an extent, understand it because of the aggression that Buffalo's been showing. And oh my God, did you see
got away with that
timing?
He actually got away with
the timing with that, and actually managed to get the full rotate off. And they're going to be committing to that. They're like, you're not going to get away with that again. We want your life. Come back here. And they're going to be splitting the push. That's probably not the best decision to deal with a roamer. They need to start getting those trades off and just separate it like that. And oh, I'm almost proven correct right there, as JJ almost loses his life right there.
And this is a roamer above.
Uh-oh.
And the hatch is
the
open.
ping just goes. Yeah, the ping just goes off, and that totally could have been the life of the Maverick if that ping didn't go off as well.
Right, and had that player been more aggressive on that peek from the hatch, they live drone past it already. They were so focused on catching up to that Jaeger, they could have easily got taken out. But in the meantime, they do know he's up there, so they're going to certainly be watching for it. And Flossie taking some damage. I believe they are the one above. Phoenix going to take them out, and they do manage to catch them. And that was honestly not the best position. It could have helped your teammate, but now you're trapped up there. There's no real rotation down. They're going to be watching for the drop. So he just was playing to die, and unfortunately, die he did. But Phoenix and JJ are on very, very little HP after that engagement to open things up. So these defenders still have a lot of things they could do. They can easily get those kills, but they're also burning a lot of time. You're halfway through the round now, and they're just starting to get control a little bit above. Whalelord will get a kill onto Phoenix, though, and that will be one of those low HP members taken off.
Yeah, and that's the whole role of a roamer. Waste as much time as possible, and clearly Flossie didn't waste as much time as they were supposed to, but I guess it was enough. It's been decent so far. There's a lot of damage dealt to Phoenix and JJ, but Phoenix has already been taken care of, and JJ was the damage game with Toxicity, so Toxicity is waiting for that kill to actually come out in his favor. And the aggression, you can tell Ziggler was ready to take this kill right here. It had the double tap right there to try to take care of whatever Jaeger ADS were set up. And so Toxicity is here ready to show that support when it comes to that little entry right there. The reinforcement coming off to block it off. But there's still a softball on the left-hand side. That's kind of questionable. That could be... Oh, no, it's reinforcement on the other side. I was going to say, I'm like, why do you have that open? There's no point in reinforcing it if that's just going to be sitting there open.
Well, even man count, only about 30 seconds remain. These attackers have to start getting an execute down, but Whalelord's just going to keep stumping them. It's another kill. He's been so pivotal in these last few rounds, and a nice shot from JJ will take out Toxicity, so these attackers not done yet. still feel like they can get something going here in the last 20 seconds, but these defenders might want to change their angles, make sure they have the right positions to stop a plant from going down, and certainly it will have to start coming out soon. We do see them start to move in. Whalelord getting another kill onto JJ. We're going to see the smoke playing too aggressively up close. Zigalo gets that kill, but Whalelord finds another one. He gets the ace!
Oh my god.
And CMU draw closer, only one round behind now.
I kind of just speechless right there because I expected that play to actually come off flawlessly from the attacking side. Obviously, the time counting down kind of just screwed it up for him, but like the execution was pretty well done. But then Whalelord just threw a wrench into all of it and just said, "Okay, you're gone. Okay, let me peek. Okay, you're gone." And then, oh, planting, I see. Okay, you're coming close to it. That's cute, but you're gone as well. So I like to see Whalelord actually come out on top. You can tell every single one of the defenders are like, "Let's go." They're all hyping him up right now. Every single one of them just like, "All right, we're back in the game." It's only a 1 round difference right there. So obviously they have an extra round to work with, so it's not like they're at 6 match point. But I start to question those operators selections right there, the Capcan and the Prisma wielding Ella, and then was obviously switched over to the Valkyrie. So I'm happy to see that come out. Actually, I think it was switched over to the. Shoot, I missed it. That's
that's all right. Either way, Flossie certainly is playing some of these questionable ops. I'll just say it. That they've always been doing it. Now, I don't mind them on the Capital, because Capital really does bring a lot for you. He can be like a secondary breach if you need him. He can bring that extra hard breach in his pocket. And then he also has... Oh, no. Right. No ADS again. I don't know, man. I just hope that Renegates do enough for you at this point. But
I think that's
you're
what they're trying to
playing
lean
first floor, and there's a lot of pockets players will find themselves in on defense, holding certain angles. Let's just hide out in this little corner, like near where their mute is. They play in that little corner there a lot of the time. And then also in the meeting room, off to the right, if you're on stage, there's a little pocket to the right with sandbags. A lot of the times, how do you clear that person out? You throw a nade at them. And guess what? They 6-pick to the sledge. So they have extra nades in pocket as well. So they got to be very, very careful on this defense yet again about those nades, because they're just letting them have the utility gain. And a C4 will slow down a little bit of the attack, as Phoenix is also taken off the board early on. Yet again, he's died a couple times early. Still having a good game, I'd say. Oh, breaking even. But they're not going to do any damage this round. And the defenders at least have a mana advantage very early on. And they might be able to ride it out now. Just play a little more passively, back off. And maybe these attackers will also run into some of these cap cans if they're not careful.
Yeah, I kind of that's just a joke right there, because we mentioned how, oh no, they forgot the ADS, they didn't bring a Wamai either, and then Phoenix dies right off the bat twice. Every single time we've actually started mentioning the lack of ADS, Phoenix tends to just die right off the bat, and I find that absolutely ridiculous. But I like to see the momentum that they're showing when it comes to clearing off these roamers. And they have a drone set up right there. That's an interesting drone spot. And Flossie's been called out right there as a result. And oh yeah, okay, they're aware of the situation there. I've never seen that before. Is that just me? That drone spot?
Yeah, that was interesting. I don't think I've seen it before, but apparently Flossie has. They're well aware of it. He didn't care about the awareness that these attackers might have had on him. They do seem to have full upstairs control, but over half the round has been killed, so they've done their job. But JJ does his job, taking out Whalelord, who had an ace last round, no longer going to be allowed to persist and annoy, as now it is an even man count, and the top fragger for the other team is out. So that's going to put these attackers in a really positive position. But JJ did take a lot of damage. Chodabus also taking a nick of damage as well, below half HP after that C4, but still technically an even man count. And these defenders just playing the time now.
Yeah, the defenders really need to sit back. It's evened out right now. They don't want to lose any more of that main advantage. Or it's tied up right now. They don't want to have the main advantage go in favor of the attacking side. They currently do have a barricade set up on that.
There's a drone hole, isn't there somewhere? Oh, there's not. Well, he's gonna make a Maverick hole. That'll work. But teammate is downed above. That's JJ. And that's going to leave them in a man deficit now, and they don't have the verticality that they'd like either with him off the board. So that's going to put them in a very one-dimensional push unless someone does manage to rotate. But they only have 20 seconds, not a lot of time to play with. And CMU are looking really strong here if they can just close out the round. Now that Ace will be able to do his job. Floss is going to get a trade. He kills Chodabus, but Zigalo gets that refrag. Zigalo is pushing into sight, but Toxicity is ready for it. Dugan all by the lonesome. And Flossie has a nice, easy line of sight onto their dome. And that's going to tie it up now. It's going to be 5 apiece.
Yeah, that was well played right there. Show that very slow play that CMU really needed to bring out to win off that round. They were waiting for the aggression to come out, and they just didn't show them. They were just like, hey, no, we're gonna wait there, and you're gonna have to peek us because that's not how we're gonna be running this match. And whoever was sitting in that scary area definitely took advantage of the situation. You did see that. Who was the person that just ran straight into kitchen with absolutely no whatsoever? I'm pretty sure it was Ziggalo. Ziggalo just decided to run and lost his head, and then whoever was sitting in security was sitting there waiting for the default peak to just come on through. You saw it, pre-fired, took the head off the diffuser as well. So really well played right there. Slow play, very supportive of both sides. The trades were coming off, so it's really well done. You got to just give them props for that. So they brought it back 5-5. So you got something's working, right?
Yeah, CMU fighting hard. This is their map. They want to take it. They want to get us to that map 3. They don't want to be too old. We have a short break here, I believe, waiting for the pause. As one of the teams, I believe it was Buffalo, had called for a timeout here. A pause. I'm not sure what's happening. If they just needed a timeout, I think you're allowed one, or if they actually have a player who needs to, reset something. But looking at the lineup, I wonder what's going to happen here. A sound bug, so they have to restart. Okay, that makes sense.
Are they not bringing another ADS? Seriously, I get the philosophy that the Aruni gadget can help with that a lot, but it's that hard push that the ADSs are there for. It's to burn as much utility as possible when they're committing to the push. The Aruni, you typically just throw like a drone at it. There's that out of the way. Yes, that intel is obviously huge, but you need to save it for something, or you need to save that utility waste for something that is important, like an impact grenade from a Zofia cannon, or the concussion from it as well, to really isolate the elbow side when it comes to like the downstairs laundry area. And you need to clear out that elbow side as soon as you possibly can. And obviously, whatever they had set up down there with the lack of that ADS and or my magnets just shows that the Baruni is not a good and solid like alternative for any of those like gadget options.
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing that's a little concerning is that they keep bringing something like Capcan, and I don't think Capcan caught anyone. Could be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure it didn't. So, I mean, maybe the C4 in pocket is what they like, but you already have plenty of C4 capabilities. You already have Mute, Mozzie, and Valku all have
There's
C4.
better operators to do it anyway.
And there's better operators. Exactly. I would agree with that. So, just a small criticism, but I don't want to focus on it too much. We've already mentioned it plenty of times. So, that's the way they do it. That's just the strat they like. They've been able to win rounds where they don't have ADSs. They lost one, and then they won last time when they didn't have it. So it's 50-50. But I do want to point out that before they left, they were Lion. The player who left, I'm trying to remember who it would have been. Looking at the lineup here,
I can't. I don't think
Phoenix.
It was Phoenix.
Would have been
Yeah,
Phoenix. Okay. But they were Lion. So if they come back, they get the same op. They can only one person can 6-pick. So they're either stuck with a knock or the Lion. They'll probably keep the Lion. But now, like, they know, right? So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they're going to change it up. Now, what they could do is they could switch the Lion, and then they have Knock, Iana, and Sledge.
See, this is
bring a bunch of nades.
Just like, hey guys, yeah, nice little lack of ADS there. Let's just utilize that as much as possible. The Gon 6 as well. So like Iana, not only bringing the grenades, can bring the Gon 6. So that's horrible for the defensive side if they're fully aware that they're not really like committing to any sort of ADS. So the fact that they're not doing that, the Iana could utilize every single one of her gadgets now without worrying about them being burned.
Right. And imagine if they 6 from the Lion to a Maverick. Sorry.
I would be surprised. They should be anyway, because look, it's kids' dorms right now.
Right.
They
exactly.
should be. And actually, I don't think they will. I don't think they will though, because the reason why they have the Nook is that Nook, since she has that secondary hard breach, she can be used to go flank around and deal with that herself. A lot of people have been doing that recently in their comp plays, and I don't think it was Buffalo that did that before in the past. But either way, I do like to see that Nook come out and then them try to utilize it once again. But in my opinion, I feel like they should be using Zero to do that, because he has hard breaches, or the hard breach gadget as well, and his main gadget can deal with that vertical play coming from below the attic wall. So I feel like the Zero should have been the correct choice right there.
Well, they're back. So hopefully we can get the timer going again. 6-pick can still technically happen, but they don't have a lot of time to do it. So hopefully, if they're going to 6-pick, they would have started already. So they don't really have any way
Yeah.
to change it. Oh wait, oh that was still the regular timer. My bad. I thought we had already passed that. Okay, so they can still 6-pick. We'll see if each side will do anything here. They could still.
Oh.
Okay, they're going to bring Hibana. Okay, not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
To be fair, it is destructible from below, both the attic and the closet. So you can clear whatever they're using to deny the walls, which is going to be meat jammers, which are really easy to see. So you don't necessarily need the Maverick to open up the walls, but I really don't know if Hibana is all that great. Now, there is a trick you can do with Hibana that's been shown recently, where if you shoot her gadget up top and at the bottom of the wall, it basically turns into a Maverick trick and makes it soft. So they could be doing that.
They could be, but my issue with that is that they shot. There's some sort of electricity going through the wall to the point where they cannot do that. And that's why you have to opt towards the Maverick trick, because it's pretty much guaranteed if they do execute it properly, and if there's no any sort of counter from the opposite side of the wall. It's the only time that Maverick can really be countered from either a flank or someone going from the outside of the wall. And them just opting towards the Hibana, that you need a lot more support and time to actually try to get over the wall. Apart from Maverick, that literally has no counters to actually stop his blowtorch from working. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of that, to be honest. I mean, don't get me wrong. I said at the beginning I didn't want to see the cookie cutter operator picks, but this is not what I meant by that. I wanted to see like efficiency in what they're actually bringing and difference in plays, and that's kind of just like what I wanted to see. And oh my god, the Nitrix almost took down Chodius right then and there. That would have been probably the entire round, unless they actually did win these gunfights, because that hard breach would have been a huge kill right then and there. But like I said, that I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the operator picks, and we've made the chat aware of that multiple times now.
Well, Capcan already being spotted out. No one's 6-picked on the defense, so they know roughly what everyone's going to be bringing to the table here, and the Lion's going to stall these defenders out. They're not going to be allowed to move during that scan, but he was so aware of the first one, you'd think he would have been aware of the second, but Tumac will be taken out by JJ, and Phoenix still getting a kill even after hitting that. So they have 2 kills early on attack here. Seem you're trying to get a kill. The grenade's going to swing out, but Flossie's going to be pushed from 2 different directions. JJ will actually get credited with that kill, and now it's all up to Little Beatus and I'm Toxicity, and that's a 2v5, and that's a very hard thing to ask for a mute with the shotgun, and a Valk's gun's still pretty decent actually, but in a 2v5, this is going to be a lot to ask for them.
Yeah, expect somewhat of a secure play, but they need to work off of each other and hold crossfires. They can't just sit back and work off like a single kills off of each other. So you tell Toxicity is waiting for a kill to come through from the reinforcement. They're waiting for the pixel peak to come through. Seems like that's gonna be a very far control that they're holding. You tell Lil Beavis is not gonna be having much good time once the line gets out. It's gonna require them to stay in place. There's a lot of damage to the attacking side, so that could just be enough for these defenders to just do these pickings. It seems like there's going to be a rotate straight to the attic side, and there's not going to be a rotate for the Valkyrie to help out the Mute whatsoever. That could be enough for him. 35 seconds counting down very soon. The aggression has not really been shown, and the Ayana gadget and the Ayana Gemini is going to be used to actually take care of that gateway. So the pre-fire is coming out, not going to be connected very much, but you can tell that the Valkyrie is fully aware of both of the pushes right now. And we'll be waiting for it as well. The visual does come out, not connecting anything. The reload needs to come out, and you know that Ayana is ready for a push to come through. Very careless of how the position is coming out. Just to be taking out Toxicity as a result, and the very low HP lift. Low Venus is actually being taken down by Dugan, and that flawless round as well. Not a single attacker has fallen throughout the entire process. And honestly, I don't really blame that. That was kind of a weird play from the defensive side. Don't get me wrong, it was a 2v5, but either way, it was.
Right, just losing men early. The Flossie on that roam would have been probably what you'd expect. That situation wouldn't really change. But losing those men early, Tumek, I don't know what they were doing. I believe they were up in Armory, so I'm not sure where the shots came from to kill them. But they were caught by someone, and they weren't really aware of it. Maybe they got on the window, and they weren't aware, and just got shot from there. I wasn't really able to tell from our visuals. But either way, that's a key player who stuck in that position last time they won. And yet he was taken out pretty quickly early in the round. And that just shows how important those opening kills can be. Buffalo are able to ride that one to the map and match point now as they are up by 1. We need one more, and then that'll close things out. CMU are going to be fighting here in this round to stay alive, go to overtime, hopefully try and take this map, which is their pick.
I've been questioning so many of these operator picks, man. Flossie's opt towards the Alibi? Didn't Flossie opt towards the Rook before this? We complained about that.
Yep. And then
Alibi.
Capcan.
We already had, I mean, I guess the deployable shield is helpful. They should have went for a better operator that actually brings the deployable shield, like Gordon. You'd expect someone else to actually come out for just any sort of other operator with a deployable shield, but they went towards the Alibi, which I can understand a little bit because those prismas can be helpful for any sort of aggressive play, and because like when the attackers are playing aggressive, you expect them to, like, their nerves to be like they're jittery, they're kind of just panicking a little bit. If they are panicking, they're just like, oh, there's someone there, hit the prisma, perfect visual call out, the things are going out, and that intel going out, it could be huge for the defensive side, and definitely helps slowing them down, but I don't know, I definitely would have chosen someone that actually slowed them down a little bit more efficiently in a different way, aka Malusi. She's still on the board. Utilize her. She's so effective, please.
Yeah, honestly, she brings a lot of utility that you have to clear. You can try and go up and melee it. More often, they're going to just use utility on it. So at least you're making them utility them. I will say, at least Alibi has the capability of roaming pretty well because she has the backup shotgun pistol. So she made some rotate holes for themselves. That could still prove vital, and they bring the shield on top of it. So they're not like the worst pick. Honestly, it's probably the best pick they've had so far, in my opinion, on the defensive side, out of all the ops they've been bringing. Yeah. I think it brings more utility than a Rook or a Cap can. It's just my opinion. But in any case, they're playing in sight, so they're just going to be playing on one of the shields they had brought. Jumpus is going to be taking a lot of damage, not like a whole bunch, but at least a quarter of the HP is taken off. So they're going to be a little more wary on wherever they were pushing from. I believe it was the blue bunker. Smoke's going to be persisting with the shield. He has the ADSs, but they're going to be burned out, and that's not going to be a lot of utility to protect them. Again, not bringing the Wamai is going to cost them the shield pretty early on, and they're just going to have to back off and just reinforce this wall.
Oh, he's gonna be caught. He caught. The free fire didn't come out. What?
That was an Iana drone. Almost.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say what was happening. I'll get to that, but oh my gosh,
Whalelord.
He's actually playing way more aggressive than I assumed. Toxic's gonna be finishing off the downhill from Whalelord as well. So that Whalord's killer with that DMR, man. He's ready to just clear off this whole area. Sadly, it's gonna be the stop his track. Ziggloo's gonna be the end of that, and the amount of damage Ziggloo has already been taken could be enough, but with the man advantage in the favor of the defensive side, I don't know if they have much of a chance, but see that Chodibus is actually throwing that to the rest of the attacking side, and both of them, I like this, even though they have 45 seconds remaining, and the man advantage is in the favor of the defensive side, they still have drones coming out, and the intel is still going through, communications going through pretty well, and I hope they actually do keep this up, so. Yeah, oh
no, if they get peeked from that corner player right here, if they just peek out, they could actually see the Iana on her drone just behind the pillar, but they're not looking yet. I don't know if the Iana drone actually saw them. They're going to get a nice peek here. That's Toxicity. Gets a second one onto Ziggalo as well. And now it's the Lion of JJ all by themselves. The Fuser down 15 seconds. He's going to find one onto Toxicity. 3 more to be found in 10 seconds remaining. They're going to be getting pinged because they shot in the drone. It doesn't matter. Flossie is going to shut him down. The Alibi, their clone is what gave away his position, so just an easy shot. And that's going to bring us to overtime. So they managed to do it. CMU claw their way back, and they're going to actually start on defense, which has been the more dominant side.
That has to be the play of this entire series. That was the trigger discipline coming from. Oh god, who was the Jaeger? Gosh, I'm having a brain fart right now. Who was the Jaeger? Was it Toxicity? I think it was Toxicity.
I believe so.
Yeah, seeing Toxicity, that trigger discipline on the Iana drone, he got the audio call that Ayana's going to be coming through, and you could tell the mute jammer is making it a little bit glitchy, and you could tell the little yellow marks on it were saying, okay, that's fake. So just let it run through. And the mist drone from the Ayana, he's kicking himself right now because of that. And so, Texas is feeling really good as well, because not only did he take care of the diffuser and the hard breach, he flicked right over to someone else around the pillar side, took care of them, and then just sit back and chill from there. Sadly, the trade didn't go out from the attacking side, but the trade did actually get reversed from the defensive side favor once again from whoever else did that when it came to that deployable shield heading towards the pillar area. So beautifully played. You got to say that the MVP of that entire round was XCC. I think they would have won that unless XCC was set up.
All right, I gotta give credit to Whalelord too, getting the early kill and the
That's true.
aggression, and he helped Toxicity get that kill through the wall since he had pushed them into that position. So they're working well together. We can say that. There's some players playing better than others, but overall the teamwork has come through for both sides. I mean, that's why they're both here at 6-6 onto the map point. We'll see if it's match point depending on who will be taking this map, but they're going to be going to the same bomb site they just went to, and it looks like the attackers are going through a different stage here. They're going to be pushing down and very quickly pushing down the stairs of laundry. Smoke's already repositioned. He's going to be throwing a smoke babe, trying to choke them off. They're dedicating all their manpower to the push, and they're even trying to do the dual push from freezer, so this is pretty standard stuff. They're going to see Whalelord get taken out early by JJ. Unfortunately, on that flank, they were ready and waiting with the drone work being there. Another kill coming out from Phoenix, but it's refragged by Toxicity, but Phoenix gets a kill, and Chodabus gets a TK, but Phoenix gets another kill. That's a triple for them, and now Lil Beatus all on their lonesome. That's a phrase I've said a lot, as they find themselves in 1vx's very often, and the mute with a shotgun is probably not the one you want in a 1v3 here, with plenty of time for these attackers to clear him out. He's going to give his position away. He misses the shots. SMG-11, not the most wieldy weapon, and Phoenix getting a quad on the round, and that's going to bring Buffalo into the advantage so far in overtime. First round goes to them.
You can tell that there was still 2 minutes. There was still
Yeah,
2 minutes.
so fast.
That was probably the quickest peak, or not peak, but just push in general. A series of peaks at that. But the flank came through from Whalelord, was ready at the double door little main entrance. The long range ACOG took care of him, took him off the board, and then they started pushing straight back in. Went for kill for kill for kill. I think there was a TK, but I'm pretty sure it was in the favor of the attacking side. Not entirely sure about that one. But that being said, the TK went off, but they still went kill for kill for kill, and I think that just really shows that Buffalo has been aware that they don't really work in those really high, very tense and high traffic situations where they see people running at them, and they really took advantage of the situation. They realized that this is overtime. They're expecting a very delicate play, and they're like, okay, we gotta get the intel going. We're gonna be as careful as we possibly can. But then there's like, nope, we're in sight right now. 2 minutes remaining. Good job, guys. So you just gotta. I guess they clearly weren't ready for it. I wasn't ready for it. We were sitting there just like, oh, there are 5 outlines sitting on the staircase already. So I can't really blame them. I wasn't expecting either as a cast to see there.
Well, it shows the adaptability, right? They're like, okay, we've played a pretty standard game so far. Let's mix it up. They got to overtime for a reason. They've clearly been able to keep pace with us. Let's throw them off a little bit. Let's change the tempo. And we see just how vital that was. What a good decision. I'm not sure who called it out, but whoever their captain is should be credited for that round to just decide, let's switch it up, guys. Let's go from the other side. Worked out really almost to perfection. You had a 3-1 advantage at the end of it all. And that's exactly what you want in a round. You can't really ask for more than that. And we're going to see. Can CMU bring it back? They've been able to bring it back in the regulation, but now this is map and match point. They can't lose this round or else it's all over. And I'm certain that they felt they put a good showing here on this map. They don't want it to end just yet. So let's see if they can win this round here on attack.
Yeah, Buffalo is sitting here like they're pumped right now. They're like, these guys, like they're either a message of they're upset that they've been losing some rounds. They're like, we should not have lost this round. Whoever is in their comms right now, they're like, I refuse to lose another round to these guys. And they're probably just like, oh my god, we should not be losing these gunfights. And speaking of gunfights, two Max actually be taken down right off the bat. That's going to be that Ash and a lot of utility off the board. Both sorts of so it's like an issue when it comes to utility. But JJ is still alive, not a single bit of HP lost, so that's going to be a huge frag in its favor. And as you can see, 2 minutes remaining right now. There's going to be a little bit of aggression coming in attack, not to the levels of what Buffalo.
And JJ is so instrumental so far. I don't think we've talked about him enough. He has 17 kills, 8 deaths. He's over a 2.0 on his KD so far, and that just shows how dominant he's been. He's also been one of the few people in this matchup who's really had a lot of opening engagements, whether it's death or kills. I think he's come out on top more often than not, but he's certainly been the first line of defense for Buffalo when they're on their defense, and he's going to get another one on to Flossie. He's got a double so far in this round, and this is looking like the curtain is starting to close on CMU. They're going to have to stop it if they want to get to the next map. They want to keep this series alive. But Toxicity did take some damage just now, so they're being engaged elsewhere. It looks like they're pushing up the main stairwell there and trying to get towards Trophy, but not a lot of control for them and only a minute remaining. It's not looking like this is going to be their round or map. It looks like they're going to slowly just tick away and see what they can do in the last-ditch effort.
Yeah, speaking of last-ditch effort, there's going to be archery thrown around, and not a single bit of intel gets given off. Dugan's going to be taken down, or is going to be taking down Toxicity, and Venus is going to be a result of a trade 2v4 situation right now. The attackers need to figure out what they really need to do to actually try to flush out these defenders. Audio call comes out from JJ, and he's ready for it. Free Fire comes out, actually managed to take a triple kill as a result onto Whale Lord. Headshot comes off, leaving it all in the hands of Lil Beatus, and sadly, he's going to be that last remaining attacker, and the kill is going to be coming from Zigolo, and he's going to be the man to end off this, finally end off this long game of even matches, and finally they come out on top, just showing that aggression, showing that we are just better through gunfights, and that is the reason why they came out with Coastline from the beginning.
Well, they certainly showed that they have that frag power on their team, and as you mentioned, they showed it in Coastline 7-0. This was far closer, and that goes to show CMU really does do better on a map where they can play more strategically. They have certain players that can step up like Whale Lord when they need to, but they really need that map help in a way to like burn the time and just give them a little bit more to work with as far as buying time. They get help from the map on that. Can't really get that on Coastline, unfortunately, and that did cost them the first map, a quick map. This time, not so quick. Overtime, they do manage to still lose, though, 8-6, which is honestly disappointing for them. But on the other side of things, University at Buffalo, they haven't lost a single map, by the way. I don't know if I pointed that out. In regulation, they 2-0'd earlier, and now they get another 2-0 here to move into that finals position, as they are now officially going to be in the finals for this Champions Division. We still do have another matchup. That'll be, I believe, for the Challenger Division to see who will be going to their finals. And then, of course, there'll still be one more day where those finals will happen. Not today. But we have to get the lobby set up. We have to get the other casters in here, so they will be taking over for the next game. And then we'll see more action. But in the meantime, I think we have a small break. If I'm remembering correctly here, Patrick, who is our producer, we thank him very well. And so we'll throw you to those ads quick, and we'll be right back with you.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch it!